Folks, it's Tuesday night. It's time to submit to the High Council. I'm your host, Jeff of World Class Bullshitters, and with me tonight is my partner in crime, Mecha Random 42.
Hello.
We also have the newest member of the council, Tom from Midnight's Edge After Dark.
Good evening, and thank you.
And finally, the most requested guest from ClownFish TV. We have.
Oh no!
What? You don't believe it?
No, I don't.
Every week, people are going, "Have ClownFish TV on. Have ClownFish TV on." Okay, well, we made it happen, folks, because the High Council is, able to do that sort of thing. So let's introduce our friends from ClownFish TV. How you guys doing tonight?
Good to be here. Nice to meet everybody.
Yes, hello.
So, folks, ClownFish TV will be here for the first hour or so, and then they have to go, and then we're going to be joined by Yellow Flash Comics. So you're going to get a twofer tonight. So first half, if you have anything that you want to ask or say to ClownFish TV, now will be the time. And we're going to cover all the big topics this week. So we got a little bit of Star Wars, but the main thing tonight is Doctor Who, a little bit of Star Trek, Brie Larson's Nissan commercial. And yeah, I watched it. It's weird. And we got all kinds of stuff tonight. So first off, next week, Mecha, if you're available, could you host the High Council? I should have asked you this off air, but I'm going to be gone.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so you heard it here, folks. The High Council will not be on World Class Bullshitters next week. It'll be on Mecha Random 42's channel. So make sure that you're subscribed to her channel for all the awesome content, but make sure you don't miss the High Council over there, because I will be traveling to Horror Hound in Cincinnati, and I will be on the road for a couple of days. So it's going to be radio silence from us here on World Class Bullshitters, but we don't want to have a delay in the show. And that also means next Thursday night we won't have a podcast, but be on the lookout for the stuff we do post, because we have our first piece of WCBS merchandise, and you might not want to miss it. So ClownFish TV, welcome to the High Council. What I can ask you guys a basic question. What are your thoughts on Disney Star Wars?
Well, it's something. It's not a good thing, but it's something.
Well, this is the High Council. You don't have to hold back at all.
Yeah.
You go ahead.
Oh, I think we've already stated our opinion, right? And it's some people shouldn't own things.
That's right.
And I think Disney bought something, they didn't know what to do with it.
And then they can't figure out they should shut up, and they just keep doubling down on everything. And it's like, would you just shut up? You're making it worse. Shut up. You're making it worse. And they keep letting them talk, and we don't understand why.
Yeah. I don't understand why. Lucasfilm and Marvel, they don't work like regular Disney companies.
Mm-mm.
Like, they just let these people just go out and say and do whatever the hell they want to do. And that's not how Disney usually operates. But they seem to. I don't know if it's because they're like the stepchildren, they got grafted in or what, but they don't get treated like the rest of Disney. There's no accountability.
No, this has come from people who've signed NDAs with Disney.
Yeah, it's weird.
So we kind of know. But yeah, it's like, it's garbage. We didn't even watch Rise of Skywalker. We're not going to.
No, I have no interest. I mean, I can't believe that we actually went. I mean, we got married actually, and partly because of Star Wars. I mean, Geeky, she used to deal in vintage Star Wars toys, help put herself through college with that. And, we were huge Star Wars fans. We went from Star Wars being like a major part of our lives to, God, I don't even care if I go see the new movie or not. I just don't care.
So what was the rarest piece that you dealt to help pay for school?
I don't even remember. It's been so many years. It was mostly just like the some figures and stuff. Trying to remember. I sold so many things I don't remember.
The green 3PO, the Japanese one.
I had that. I had several things. I had my own personal collection too, which I ended up selling and stuff. So there was stuff in it, but I couldn't even tell you now what was all there. I know I had, like you said, the green 3PO. I had a lot of the new stuff that people wanted. I had people would get me the old figures. I had many of those, but like I pretty much had so many of them. I don't even remember which ones I had at this point.
They used to
come in and I just take them out and sell.
But you're
them.
like dealing out of your.
I was dealing out of my dorm room. Some people deal drugs. I dealt in figures.
Like I remember doing I did a background check on you, and I Googled,
did you really?
I did. I Googled your name.
You background checked me?
Well, kind of. And
that's what we learn.
And it came up. It was like, if you want some Star Wars figures, there's this girl at this college. You got to go see her. She's got everything in her room. And
hey, man, you got a Boba Fett.
Yeah, it was weird. I put my flyers up over the campus. You have the little tear tags, and I worked in the library, so I could see when people were tearing them off, and they'd call me up. And it was always guys. So people were wondering why these guys were coming in the room. I don't even know what they thought was going on. But I was just selling toys out of my room. So.
I found it very, very hot, by the way.
Just looking for a little snaggy tooth. You got some?
Yeah, pretty much. It was weird.
You never had one of those, did you? The blue snag?
No. If I had that, I'd still have it. I wouldn't.
Yeah,
have
you would
gotten
have went
rid of
to
it.
Harvard or something.
Yeah, I would have gone to a much better college.
Yeah.
So,
I'll have to have you back on when Michael from Retro Blast is available. We could nerd out about Star Wars figures.
Oh God, it's sad. You know, it's weird. Like I think we've gone through all the stages of grief, right? We were first we're like, oh, this is great. We're getting new Star Wars and it's going to be fantastic. And, hey, Disney did good with Marvel. This is going to be great. And then, we tried to convince ourselves that we liked it. And then
you did. I was like, what the hell is that?
I did. I actually walked out Force Awakens. I'm like, that wasn't terrible. We got to see Harrison Ford again. They killed him, dropped him off a bridge. But hey, other than that, it was pretty good. It was okay. And we were excited about The Last Jedi. And I remember we actually sat in the theater. We were just like, I literally threw my arms up in the air when Leia's flying through space. I'm like, what the hell is this? What is this?
I didn't make it past the first mama joke. And then I was like, I'm out.
Yeah. And then, again, like I get it. You can put a bad movie out, right? And you can rebound from that, but you can't put a bad movie out and then go attack people for 2 years. Constantly attack people. And that's what they did. And I'm like, where the hell is Disney in all this? Because we know that they usually rein their people in. But when it comes to Marvel and Lucasfilm, like it's a free-for-all. It's a free-for-all.
Well, you're talking about people at Marvel having, free reign to say whatever they want publicly. What do you guys think of Dan Slott melting down over on Twitter?
This is more your domain.
What year is it? Because this happened a couple of years ago too.
Yeah, it's like 2017 all over again.
Yeah, and again, Marvel, look, Marvel Comics. And I said this. I think we were on Erotic the other night, and I said, Marvel. And I used to work in Disney Comics, and I know people at Marvel, and I know people on the Disney publishing side. And Marvel Comics doesn't mean jack shit to Disney. It really doesn't. Like these guys really need to watch what they say, because they're putting the crosshairs. You wonder why Axel Alonso got fired? He got fired because the bad news hit the mainstream press. It hit.
There goes the truck.
There goes the truck right through a living room. No, it hit. It hit Forbes, and it hit Variety and Hollywood Reporter and all that. And Disney took care of it. But for the most part, they don't pay much attention to Marvel unless there's bad news. Look at what happened to Chuck Wendig. He shot his mouth off. He got gone. So these guys are disposable. They don't seem to realize that they're disposable. Disney doesn't need them. So I would keep your head down, do your work, be grateful they haven't shut the comics publishing arm down yet, and just carry on. I don't know.
Although Jim Zub did have to go through Disney to get permission for Marvel to give him permission for us to interview him, though, because they said no the first time.
Yeah, they're weird about it.
Yeah, we've had to sign papers with NDAs, and you can't say this and you can't do that before. Which is why I was surprised people were allowed to say and do things on Twitter, because we would have gotten in trouble for it.
Yeah, it blows my mind, and I think a lot of them are just going rogue. I don't think they're really paying attention like they used to. Like, yeah, the paperwork I had to sign. I used to work on the Uncle Scrooge comics. And I wasn't allowed to just go rogue and talk about the comics unless, it was vetted, went through, the proper channels or whatever. I wasn't allowed to talk about what I was working on. I wasn't allowed to, definitely wasn't. I mean, this is a different time, but I wasn't allowed to go out to Twitter and, give my hot takes on politics or anything. I would have been backhanded so hard. They wouldn't knock me into next Tuesday. But yeah, they definitely, I think we lost our host.
Yeah, he'll be right back.
He probably closed the wrong tab.
Yeah, he's having some issues probably. Of course, StreamYard's been just off the chain the last 2 days. I think they're implementing some upgrades.
You guys.
But no, you guys seem to just kind of come on the YouTube scene, and you guys have just blown up. I remember first seeing you guys in Mecca talking about you. Gosh, you guys were pretty small then.
I've been trying to organize, I guess, a play date between Midnight's Edge and Clown.
We've been trying.
And He-Man, because I'm like, I know tiny bit about Shira because I remember it as a kid. I'm like, no, Clownfish, Geeky Sparkles knows Shira.
Yeah, check some old comments maybe on some old videos or way back in your Twitter. I think I said send me a DM sometime. A couple times.
We get spammed with so much. A lot of times we don't see it.
Yeah, we're old. We remember all this stuff.
I try not to do that though. I try to get a hold of somebody directly. I try not to do that kind of crap in public. But Jeff's right. Everybody's been asking for you guys, and you guys are just on Nerdrotic as well. So
Congrats on 100K.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Despite all of YouTube's interference, right?
Yeah, we had the only major problems we had was actually it was over Shira. DreamWorks.
Oh my God!
Copyright striking every damn
within
video.
Seconds of it going up, but everybody else could do it, and that was fine.
And it got reversed every time. Every time it got reversed, and so eventually they just kind of like
stopped.
Yeah, now they're making us like every video we upload, we have to rate it ourselves. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, how offensive is this video? So we can't even like put a monetization on our videos until we rate ourselves. But I think it's actually a good thing in some ways, because then we can just kind of give them a heads up, like, yeah, we might swear in this one or whatever. But
see, I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, it's not terrible.
I don't think YouTube cares so much about swearing.
They don't. They care about bad press, I think.
Yeah, well, sometimes.
Yeah,
but the Shira thing, yeah, we would get to the place where we'd put a video up and literally within less than a minute, it would be flagged. And we're like, how the hell is this flagged in less than a minute?
Oh, yeah.
And it was funny because me being me, I'm just like, oh, hell no. And then we just do it all over again.
We record another one.
We do another one, just put it back up and be like, we'll release them both. So kiss my butt. And
yeah, we've done similar things too. Yeah, but no, I never watched Shira. And I'm a huge freaking He-Man. In fact, I got a fucking He-Man shirt on right now.
Oh, you're gonna love what they're gonna do to him.
Oh yeah, you're not gonna like what they're gonna do to He-Man.
Yeah, we got some insiders. And I just tweeted that. I was just talking to someone who claims that they read the script for the first episode or two of Kevin Smith's He-Man, and supposedly it's going to be the Teela show. But it's not just going to be the Teela show, right? I'm like, okay, well, Teela, they're going to have her help. He-Man get his mojo back. Oh, no. He-Man's going to realize that he's not as good of a hero as Teela, so he's going to sunset himself. That is my understanding. So I hope it's not true. But you know what? I thought those Doctor Who rumors weren't true, and I thought the Rise of Skywalker leaks weren't true. And we were wrong.
Well, you hope they weren't.
I hope they weren't true.
Now, I can see that the kids-based He-Man show being junk. That I don't have any real hope for. But I did have hope for the Kevin Smith show. But at the same time, I also knew it was going to be Teela heavy because they kind of insinuated that in the press release. It was like, Teela finds out about her past, which we know has all been set up in this series before. And then He-Man and Skeletor have their final battle. Well, if it's their final battle, then I can see that too,
Yeah.
But if it's done well, okay, fine.
Right.
If you bring a definitive ending to it to where it's like, okay, great. She's the spoilers, new sorceress at the end, and He-Man's off, just like, okay, you don't need me no more. Skeletor's gone, etc. Then fine, let him go off into the sunset. But if you just set it up to where it's for another series where it's going to be the Teela show, then I'm totally on board with you. But see, Teela's been one of those characters where I've always said there's always been strong characters. Look at He-Man, Teela, and Evil Lynn, two of the strongest female characters in kids' TV shows, right there. So yeah.
They said her backstory, but from I understand, again, I'm just hearing this from insiders, alleged insiders, that they set her up to be the new sorceress, which totally makes sense. That goes with the old show. But now they're talking, well, no, she's actually going to be like He-Man. She's actually going to raise the sword, and I don't know if she's going to get all muscly or what's going to go on here.
No. That's not how it works.
And
that's what we're hearing.
That's not how the Force works.
No.
Well, when I found out, I knew we were going to have issues with Shira before it came out, because all I did was take one look at who they said the showrunner was. I was like, oh my God, Shira, yay! And then I saw, and I was like, oh, shit, because I knew exactly what we were going to get, and that's exactly what we got.
I remember the morning reading it. It came up on USA Today or Sci-Fi or something. It's like, oh my God, hey, Geeky, they're gonna do
Neon.
Yeah, they're no, because I told you, and I started reading. You were all excited. You were doing the happy clap.
No, I read it, and then I saw the name, and
then we got halfway through, and we're like, oh damn it, it's Noelle Stevenson. You know how this is gonna go.
I knew what we were gonna.
It's gotta be a Tumblr show. That's exactly and that's what we got.
So I knew.
No, I never bothered watching Shira. I think Mecca, you watched how many episodes?
I made it through about 2.5, maybe just 2, and then I'm out.
You didn't get to this the new one. Did you get to the slumber party?
No, I think I only saw the first 2 episodes, and I did a live reaction of them, and I'm like, no, this is just terrible. This is
it's a thing. It's a thing. Well, we just did a video the other day. It turned out that Chuck Austin, who used to write X-Men, was brought in to fix it halfway through the production to try to tighten it up a little bit. But they don't talk about that.
I hope that's wrong, because going by the mythos of He-Man, the sorceress has to stay in Grayskull, and if she leaves, her powers are diminished. And not only that, it leaves Grayskull vulnerable.
Well,
I'm
yeah.
hoping it's not true.
I'm hoping it's not true, but you know what? There are a lot of things I hope that weren't true. Because here's the thing. Now we got the Wreck-It Ralph.
That's why you have to
situation.
have He-Man. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's the whole point of He-Man. He's
Yeah, but now we're talking like Wreck-It Ralph, where Vanellope was never supposed to leave the machine. That was like the rule, right? And then she just got bored and left. So maybe it's like Teela's like, well, I don't want to be the support, sorceress. I want to go out there and bust some heads myself.
It's not a choice. It's just the way it works. It's not how the force
doesn't
works.
matter if that's how it works. No.
That's how it works now. Yeah, you can change.
I mean, they at least split it up to where there's two swords, so you could have boy and girl. But no, the sorceress is the sorceress for a reason. It's
It's 2020, Tom. You got to get with the times.
It doesn't matter if she identifies as a He-Man. It doesn't matter.
It's women.
Science doesn't care.
Women can be He-Man too. That's how.
Well, we already have one. We don't need another
Drawing
one.
her like that.
We have a Shira already. We don't need another one.
So I don't know. That's just what we're hearing. So the source is pretty reputable. I'm just like, oh god. Well, maybe it'll look good anyway. It looks like the art style is gonna be pretty good.
I hope so. I do. I held hope out for the Kevin Smith one. Like I said, the other one, they could. I know it's going to be for kids, and if they go ahead and Shira the whole thing up, then I'm like, whatever.
Well, the character designers at Jeff Matsuda, who did the Batman, so it might actually be pretty good. And I know the animation studios, the people who did Troll Hunters, so it might be decent. I've actually got more hope for that. I think at this point they do the Kevin Smith one.
Well, it seems like everything has to be inclusive now, unless it's a girls' show. That's it.
Well, it's because diversity just means women.
Exactly.
I don't like being pandered to like that. I'm sorry.
I know. I don't either. I call it all the time, but and if you don't agree, there's so many people lined up to tell you what a bad person you are if they acknowledge your presence. A lot of times, if you're a woman, you just don't exist because you don't agree with the narrative.
Well, exactly. Yeah, they don't want to mention you anywhere.
No, because let's face it. When I was a kid, the only reason I watched Shira is because there was a hope and a chance He-Man might show up.
Every other episode, he'd walk through the magic portal.
Pretty much. I mean, that was just it, because it was just like, okay, there's a chance He-Man might show up. I'll watch this crap. I didn't really care for the characters that much.
Well, they didn't have money for both. That's what happened. So it was an either or. So basically, Shira, the 2 seasons they did Shira were like a continuation of Masters of the Universe. So all the new He-Man toys is why they put the Horde in Shira, and that's why they had all
it's season 3 technically.
Yeah, pretty much. So they were like, okay, well, let's make sure we get He-Man in there a lot too. Because these toys were in the He-Man toy line.
Yep. Oh yeah, I know the history of that part, but yeah, for those out there listening, that's the way it kind of worked. Shira ended up being He-Man season 3, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, that was all before my time, so I don't know.
Yeah, you're a youngin'.
Yeah, at 31, I'm a youngin'.
Get off my lawn.
I don't trust Kevin Smith with anything. I mean, he made Batman piss his pants. So.
Did you watch Jane Silent Bob yet?
No, I haven't had a chance.
I sent him Jane Silent Bob, and he still ain't watched it yet.
Yeah, I know. Well, Kevin Smith ain't Kevin Smith anymore. So.
I know. I felt the same way, and then I watched that. I know some people have liked it. Some people have disliked it. I thought it was pretty good. So,
well, we're going to go meet him at the convention we're working to get a photo op to send it to our favorite boulder holder who claimed we gave him a heart attack. So be on the lookout for us on Twitter, man. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Are you allowed anywhere near him?
Of course.
Okay.
It's not like there's a, oh, this guy gave Kevin Smith a heart attack. Kevin Smith himself will be like, who the fuck is that guy? Spirit animal or not, that's not the case.
What did I saw a video? Somebody mentioned it was I think it was Comic-Con or something. They were talking about their favorite YouTubers, and they mentioned they're talking to Kevin Smith, and they're like, oh yeah, I really like Ethan Van Sciver, and he just got this look on his face. Like,
I didn't see that.
Like somebody hit his dog with a truck, So I'm like, oh, I think he knows about these YouTubers. Kevin Smith knows all.
Well,
that.
he's a comic book freak. Of course, he knows all these guys.
I'm sure he's watching right now.
No, I doubt it. He's crying.
He's crying.
He's probably too stoned to even understand what we say on this channel half the time. So,
yeah, here's the thing. Like Daniel said, Kevin's a shill, and what that means is he over exaggerates things that he loves or likes, and then when you watch his movies or see his like stand up shit, then you hear his real feelings. So there's the difference. Because I remember he loved and gushed and came all over the prequels.
Yeah.
But he's the one. First time I ever heard the words "mannequin Skywalker" was from him. So,
dude, It even goes further back. He's the first person I ever saw make fun of it in a piece of media. The Clerks cartoon makes fun of it.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I want my $7 back.
Yeah, and Joel Schumacher's there too.
Yeah.
But, Joel Schumacher is one of the weirdest directors for me because I grew up only knowing him as Batman and Robin's director. Well, Batman Forever too. But as an adult, I'm like, well, The Lost Boys was a solid movie, really great movie actually.
Yes, it was.
Now,
Kevin Smith just
really
likes to make
solid
money. He just likes to make money. That's all it is, Really. Yeah. Do I think he really liked half the shit he says he likes? Probably not.
Probably not.
He's just like us. He probably has a lot of the same feelings. He just ain't going to say it because he likes to work.
Yeah.
And, you got to think, JJ and all those guys, they're his friends. Is he really going to say it sucks? No, he's that nice friend. He always tells you your shit's cool.
Yeah, you have a beautiful baby. Sure you do.
Yeah, he is just a hype man. When he was on the DC panel, remember when it was like, I think it was the build up to Justice League, maybe it was BVS, but Kevin Smith and Jeff Johns would appear in front of all the CW shows, and I'm just like, I don't trust anything that's being said right now. So
yeah, I think that's what's going on now. Is I think the fans are catching on. Because for years it seemed like Hollywood kind of came in and they're like, they would just spin this like, look, hey, fellow kids, go see this new movie, this new video game. Isn't that rad? Don't you want to go to this movie? Yeah, it's pretty cool. And now everybody's starting to catch on. Like it's all bullshit.
He was definitely one of the first ones of those.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's kind of, I think, when fandom took a nosedive was when Hollywood got involved. I mean, you can kind of trace everything back to Hollywood getting involved. Once the money was there, then these corporations started to get a little more interested in our hobbies, and they started to kind of infiltrate, and that's when everything kind of went to hell in a handbasket.
Yeah, and it also makes you wonder because, well, not us, but those out there who disagree with a lot of the stuff we report, they always go, why don't the studios just go after them? It's because they can't, and 9 times out of the 10, they could squash anything we say with a tweet. And they never do. Why? Because they can't half the time. That's why. It's sickening sometimes how people just don't understand that. It's like, why would they lie to us? Because they're Hollywood. Because they're a corporation.
They're selling you a product. They're trying to sell you a product. Of course, they're going to make it look as good and appealing as they possibly can.
It's just like the health halo in fast food, folks. You feel like you're eating something that's healthy for you just because they got lettuce and tomatoes all over the wall.
Yeah, just because.
But you're actually shoving a Big Mac in your mouth. Yeah, sorry, Mecca, go ahead.
No, just because it says light on your chips, they're still fattening for you.
Exactly, they're still fried the same fucking way as the other ones.
Do you guys remember the ones that were fried in Olestra that made your butthole leak? Oh, the early 2000s were a simpler time.
It's like, it won't make you fat, but it might kill you.
Yeah, that's a trade-off,
I got to get in that swimsuit by summer, so yeah, I got to get started.
Well, you'll be in a casket by fall if you keep eating these chips. So.
I don't care. Give me some cocaine and some Dexatrim.
I haven't heard Dexatrim in years.
That's an 80s drug, man.
Yeah, I feel really old now.
Wasn't it basically just Adderall, which is prescription cocaine anyway? Yeah, or speed. That's what it was.
I don't remember, but I remember the commercials for it.
Oh my god,
they sold that stuff way up through the 80s. Sorry, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Oh no, I was just thinking about the Impossible Whopper. We got one of those yesterday. It was gross, but it had lettuce on it. And it's made of lettuce. Kind of vegetable.
I was actually thinking about the gummy bears or the sugar-free variety.
Yeah, they're great.
That'll put you in the ground.
Great.
Oh, I've heard about those. Yeah.
Have you ever seen the LA Beast video where he ate 5 pounds of them at once?
Yes. Right?
He's a guy I'd love to have on the High Council, but he would offer nothing to the conversation.
Oh my god.
He would be entertaining as fuck. He would take over the show.
If you eat 5 pounds of gummy bears, I mean, yeah.
Read the Amazon reviews.
Yep.
Oh my god, they're epic.
You guys keep talking about Star Wars figures. I'm gonna eat 10.
Hey, folks in the chat, if you want, we'll read some of those Amazon reviews at the end of the show.
Yeah. You have to. They're
epic.
glorious.
They're epic. So what? Okay, so God, I completely lost track of what we were talking about.
Oh, this happens
because you're old.
No, it's my fault. This happens when I'm around. Don't mind me.
It makes for a good show. Who cares where we go? That's my motto for all the live streams.
That's why we don't do live streams very often, because we were like all over the place. But like
but-
literally, we'll have like one thumbnail for one thing. We're gonna stay on target. Next thing you
Probably
know,
never
the
do.
chat just like blows up, and we're like, why are we talking about feet? What is
This is why
what
every
is going
single
on?
This is why every single Midnight's Edge After Dark we start off. We're like, we got no news tonight. The show's only going to be like 10 minutes long, and 3 hours
You go in
later.
Congo for 1,000.
Oh yeah, then I
Congo.
turn into I come into some little bit, and it never
It goes
ends.
into a bit. See, my live streams, I just kind of go. I just say, you know what, it's fuck Hollywood or something, and it doesn't matter because I might play the sitar for a half an hour. I might.
Don't bring up Congo. You'll bring out who.
I know. I shouldn't have said it.
Didn't Bruce Campbell die in the beginning of that movie?
Yes, he did.
Okay. It's been a long time since I've seen that film.
And well, lately, Frank Marshall's been showing up to Midnight's Edge After Dark, trying to hide from Kathleen Kennedy. So he likes to do coke in our bathroom.
If Midnight's Edge After Dark was a place, it
is.
It is.
I can't believe Congo had a toy line. That was always such a weird thing for me as a kid. I guess they were trying to cash in on the Jurassic Park.
Yes. Well, yeah.
Was it? Yeah, because I can't remember. Like when I saw the previews for Rampage, I'm like, yeah, it's just like Congo, but the monkey's bigger. Basically, it's the same thing, you know.
Amy
Yeah, they're just telling you
said.
the Rock.
Yeah, that did have the Rock in it. You got a point there.
Yeah.
Did you hear about the Jungle Cruise controversy?
Now what?
So apparently, one of the characters is like a lead gay character, but
Oh,
Disney
yes.
didn't put him in the trailer, and people are up in arms because the trailer features The Rock and Emily Blunt, the two actual stars of the film.
I thought he was in the trailer though, because they have another character with him, and that's like supposed to be your brother. And I thought he was in the trailer they had out today. I could be
I'm just
wrong.
going by what these people write with these crazy articles. You know, it's like, hey,
Yeah.
I get it. You're upset over stuff. Let's
Yeah, because
stop the
I
world.
covered it today. I do a Disney blog. That's why we do a lot of things with Disney. But I didn't even pay attention. But I knew there was another character, so I just assumed that was the brother that they were having a fit about a few months ago. I didn't know that wasn't him, so it might not have been. Who knows?
Have to go check the Mary Sue and see what they're saying.
But they'll tell us. They'll tell
They'll
us.
tell
as
us
well.
our opinions. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh no, the Mary Sue.
Best Mary
They're the
Sue
lowest
article.
hanging fruit, but the most satisfying. I think.
Yeah.
I love them.
Their hot take on X-Men was my favorite. We should change the name. No, we shouldn't.
You should just keep your hot takes to yourself. My God.
I just call
Well-
them hate takes.
Well, they were
Maybe-
posting the other day about they put a meme up about they had like a the Spider-Man thing about where he heard it from the news, it had to be true, and they were getting all these likes about it. So I went and pulled up their page that said news, and I replied and then put and highlighted it where it said Mary Sue News on it. I just couldn't resist, so I had to do it.
I don't. Do these news out? We've wondered this. Like, do these people actually believe the shit they write, or they
Hell
just?
no.
I don't think
No, I
they
think
do.
a lot of time they don't.
Like we know some of these, especially the people on comics. You're talking about like Dan Slott and stuff. Like we know some of the people who are causing some of the problems on Twitter, and they used to be normal. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, because we actually know them. Yeah.
Dexatrim. I don't know what happened. They just like went batshit crazy over the last couple of years. Well, yeah, that's exactly what happened. This orange fellow here is exactly what happened.
So I just thought this was like literally Captain Sweatpants from The Big Bang Theory. I don't know this guy from anybody because like I'm blocked by him and I don't know him. So thanks,
Yeah,
Captain Sweatpants. I appreciate it.
yeah.
We're blocked by all these people too, so don't feel alone, Mecca.
he was like Marvel backhanded him for a while. He wasn't allowed on social media for a while. I still don't think Mark Wade's allowed. So I think he's got somebody running his Twitter account for him or something.
Well,
I don't know.
Are you a Spider-Man fan at all?
Yeah, not
Yeah.
currently. I haven't read Spider-Man in like 10 years, but
That's what I was going to say. They've ruined the character. Like,
Oh yeah, I know.
my whole comic book journey was like, man, one day I want to draw Spider-Man for Marvel. And then about 5 years ago, I went, I hate Marvel comics. I don't want to deal with these people. Like, that's honestly the reason why I just changing my dream. I went to school. I'll figure something out. But so, I mean, I don't want to say toxic community because those are their words and it, kind of hypocritical, but like I couldn't stand being around those type of people. Like I hate, like we talked off air briefly about comic conventions. I don't even like going to those things because, folks, a lot of the times it is very much a real life version of Twitter, the Mary Sue, shitty Forbes hot takes, and every other crap, Tor.com and Screen Rant. That's basically what a lot of comic conventions are. And I just, those aren't places I want to be.
It didn't used to be that way.
Yeah, it wasn't like this a few years ago.
Just roll it back 5 or 6 years in comic, because we did a lot of conventions. We used to be invited to conventions.
Used to be
past tense. That's not going to happen anytime soon. But we used. What's that?
We're going to have our own next year, according to Ethan, with Comicsgate and Fandom. So just come to that one.
Oh, geez. There's going to be protesters out.
Hey, let them buy a ticket and protest us to our faces.
That's right. Yeah. You know what? Then you got the money, and who's laughing?
Yeah, but the convention scene used to be pretty tight. People were pretty solid. You know, the comic book industry. That's what it blows my mind. Just in like 5 years. It's 5 or 6 years. Everything just went to hell in a handbasket. The people who are making all kinds of noise on Twitter, who are causing the problems, who are calling for people to be canceled, all of this, these people used to, believe it or not, they used to be normal. Like, I don't know what happened. You know, it's just suddenly
but they're afraid not to get work.
Well, I think that's a big part of it. I really do.
The problem with us is we just don't give a shit. So I mean,
yeah,
they don't
have
pay.
no power.
Comics don't pay worth
They don't
anything.
pay anything.
And we even had a literary agent for one of the big ones who represents people who we don't like. And
it's a lot of those. These days.
And we were pitched to the big, places and all that, and they were going to pay with so little. You could literally work at McDonald's and make more money. So why would you want to do that and have to be told, what you can say, what you can't say, who you can talk to, who you can't talk to? It's an awful lot of hoops to jump through and bullshit for no money.
Yeah, and it's attracting comics is attracting the kinds of people that work in it now, because those are the kinds of people that work for that kind of money.
That's right. That's what they can afford.
Yeah, get what you can pay for, right?
I mean, these are people who basically can't even get like a fast food order, right?
Mm-hmm.
I remember these commercials they used to play for trade school when I lived in Vegas, and this girl, she's sitting there and she's getting yelled at by a customer, and she got the order completely wrong, and she's like, "I shouldn't be here. I should be a medical professional." No. You can't even get my order right.
Please don't. We had, so many people that want to work in comic, like they don't have any other real job skills. I was on another show a couple of days ago, and we're talking about the comic book situation. And, I think it's just comics has gotten very, very weird, because when the money left, I think the professionalism left too, because all the people who can,
you get what you pay for.
You get what you pay for. But the people who can make good money, they go work in Hollywood, they go work in gaming, they go do something else. They get out. And you look at guys like Ethan, he's getting out, and they hate him for it.
I was hoping that Comicsgate would have started another Image, like a couple of guys would have banded together and started.
Yeah, but look what happened to Image, though.
I understand, but look what happened at the beginning.
No, I know, and I don't disagree with you, and I actually think that as long as things keep going the way they are, they kind of already are doing that. It's just the independentness of it. There wouldn't be a label for that matter, or there will be eventually, and it'll end up being put together by guys like EVS. And I don't think that's far off. I really do think that that's kind of the road it's going to take, probably.
That's what I'd like to see. I'm at the lower end of it, but still, that'd be something I'd like to pursue, because it's a lot of fun. So, I see people talk about certain people from Image. I don't know. I'm a Todd McFarlane fan. He's my favorite from Image.
Yeah, he's a smart guy. McFarlane, he kind of, he got in drawing comics. He drew Spider-Man, obviously, for years and did really well with that. Now he's more of a businessman, but he's a smart guy. All those guys are, even Rob Liefeld. If you follow Rob Liefeld on Twitter, he's kind of getting some heat now for his very mild hot takes, but he's just letting it rip because he doesn't have anything to lose at this point. It's like he did his thing. He made his money, and he's like, screw you guys. Things aren't as good as they used to be, and I'm going to say so.
Yeah, I watched a Rob Liefeld video the other day talking about DC Comics after Dan Didio got fired or let go, or however it went down.
Fired.
And he was taking the take like, oh, well, he had a corporate job with all these perks. He's got plenty of money. He's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's true. He did. He's probably making, $500,000 a year. I'm sure he's okay. Or more. Who knows?
Yeah, good for him, I guess. At least, I don't know where the divide begins for you, but I think DC held the line for putting out at least more palatable books than Marvel. I lost interest in everything Marvel put out probably around 2014, and I was still buying some DC comics up till last year, maybe. So
yeah, I think so. Marvel definitely jumped the shark sooner, and I think it comes down to, again, the kind of talent. that they were bringing in, because I think when Disney bought them, I think they were starting to cut some corners already. Because I know Marvel wasn't very important to Disney as a comics publisher. They wanted the IP for the movies. They didn't give a shit about the comic books. So I think they were already cutting some corners, and they were getting what they could get from Tumblr, mostly. So.
Well, here's the thing. I asked this to many people that are definitely into comic books. Why would you not want to build an ecosystem where you go see Iron Man in the theater in 2008, and you may not see him until 2009 again in the theaters, but your Iron Man kind of looks like Robert Downey Jr. You got following adventures of that. You got your action figure that passes the resemblance for that. You basically keep that shit alive, and you just make more money. I don't see how you would lose market share or how you would hurt your brand, because you're going to publish Iron Man every month in perpetuity, but you could do more with it. Like with Spider-Man, I get, maybe Sony doesn't want to do whatever or play ball, but other characters that are MCU, you could just do all these things with the books. You have the build up to the biggest movie of all time, Endgame, and you make Captain America a Nazi in the build up to that movie over the course of a couple years. Like, what business sense does that make?
I've said the same thing. It didn't make any sense to me either. I'm just like, you could, people are there. Well, first of all, a lot of people that are going to come, they're going to go see the movie. They're not going to read the comics. For the majority of people, they're not even going to read those. But it would make sense that they would be available, that it would tie in, because that would make the most sense. And then like a lot of kids and stuff would go to see it, and they might want to go buy the comics or whatever. And it would just make sense. But then that would make sense, and we can't make sense.
I think it's the same kind of shit we're seeing in movies and television. You have people that are creatively bankrupt. They don't know how to create something that's original or new. Yep. So it's so much easier for them to adapt or adopt, however you want to, or culturally appropriate in this sense, something like Iron Man or Captain America or Captain Marvel, even for that matter, and just turn it into something perverted that it wasn't in the first place. And then they feel all special because they did something new and original to something that wasn't what it was in the first place. And that's what we see with Star Wars and Doctor Who and Star Trek and all these other franchises that keep coming up. And it gets old after a while. You get to a point where sooner or later you think the money men are going to step in, and I think Hollywood that's happening, but I think comics are already so dead and far gone that so many of the investors have backed out. I think that's kind of what you were saying before, is that it's just going to end up dying because there's nobody there anymore as far as money men to go, wait a minute, you guys aren't making any money here. So all they're doing is just going to go bankrupt, not just creatively or culturally, but just in general, like money wise, they're going to go bankrupt because they ain't going to have no money to pay anybody anymore. So
yeah, I mean it's on life support. The comic book industry is on life support right now, and it's really sad, but it's not any of the, Warner or Disney, whoever blinks first. I mean, one of them is going to pull the plug on their publishing outfit. I just don't know which one.
That's why everybody's owned by these big corporations anymore. Where back when it was just Marvel and DC, they probably cared a little bit more, but they've all been sold out to Warner and Disney, and they're all fighting each other on these big fronts. Like they just got rid of, what were they trying to sell? Simon and Schuster. CBS is trying to sell Simon and Schuster.
That's
the publisher, because they're like, it's an important company, but streaming is where it's at. We don't really care. We're going to unload it. So they're all focused on streaming right now. So because they're all focused on that, they don't give a shit. So it's all owned by these big companies that don't care.
Well, that's what happened with Doctor Who. We talk about how Who declined because they don't have to pull the ratings. They don't have to make Who profitable. They have the BBC TV license. So there's no incentive to actually make a show that the audience wants. And same with comics. Like if you know that you're going to have a job.
It's more about power.
Yeah.
And pushing agendas.
Yeah. It's like we know this stuff's going to get published regardless. So let's get our messaging in there while we do it. And that's kind of what's going on.
By the way, Link Lex, I'm pretty sure it was Joe Quesada that caused Marvel and DC to stop doing certain friendly crossovers. What was the line? DC's like a porn star who can't get it up.
Something like
that. I think that was before the Disney buyout, I believe. So I'm pretty sure it was Joe Quesada that ruined that. He ruined Spider-Man as well. But
what's funny to show the shift in things, Fragoff Felger Crab actually brings up something I was going to kind of allude to or bring up anyway. Warner Brothers was once owned by Time Life. That's right. Time Life, the company that DC was a part of originally, bought Warner Brothers back in the day. So that's how much more powerful they were than Warner Brothers when they were bought over. Now DC, they could blink and out of existence and nobody noticed.
Yep. Yeah, it's sad. I mean, growing up, again, I'm old. Comic shops and arcades, that's where I spent most of my time, most of my money. And it's just, it's all kind of dying. That's
I mean,
sad.
even though I grew up with video games in the home, I still went out and bought comic books up until a couple of years ago. Even when I was in college and didn't have much money, I'd find a way to spend like $50 a week on books.
That's about 3 books, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
3
Giant
X-Men books.
bullshit.
Yeah, it's just it's everything's changing, and then there's a lot other. There's a lot of other factors too, but yeah, I do agree, and this is I think everybody talks about this is just just in the last couple of years, really everybody's ramped it up. You've got these people coming in that don't respect the franchise. We've seen Star Wars and Star Trek and Doctor Who destroyed in a half a decade. These icons of pop culture were around for years, decades, 50 plus years in some cases, and they were taken down within 5 years by stupid people.
Yeah.
I've been working on something that covers all this because I know Midnight said you guys made something similar. I saw the thumbnail pop up in the group, but it is kind of disheartening to watch all the best and sometimes most thought-provoking IPs get taken down because people want to just cash in on the name, and then they don't have the ability to do it. Like the best example I can give for me is Jordan Peele in the Twilight Zone. That dude turned every episode into a Me Too movement episode or a Black Lives Matter. When Rod Serling and Buck Houghton and all the other people that were involved with writing of the stories, Richard Matheson, there were poignant topics that, even though they're 60 years old at this point, are still relevant today. The episode where the town goes black and the sun doesn't come up because they killed the black dude has more relevance and weight than anything that Jordan Peele puts out with his stuff, and that's very old. So Tom, once it goes back to what you said about how these people want to pat themselves on the back for achieving something socially. Money's not the great motivator that it used to be. I feel like if the money was the great motivator, we might have crazy off the wall, fun, original shit. But now it's, you're looking for diversity points or whatever you would get on Twitter. It's like, hey, I created this diverse version of Spider-Man. Okay, cool.
Well, and it's not really just in most cases, it's some kind of political agenda taking over, but take DC, for instance, or MGM for that matter. Those two are just trying to basically cash in, and they had the wrong people in charge, or they didn't allow said people to actually, let their wings take flight or whatever, because look at DC, they damn near destroyed that brand on film and on in comics, not just in comics, but the movies were ready to just Justice League is a bona fide flop, so look at what Bird of Prey has done. They're not out of the water yet, really, if you think about it. And then look at things like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It was just the stupidity of the people involved that just kind of destroyed what could have been, the resurgence of that franchise. And now is the first time in history where I'll walk into a Walmart and they don't have a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles section at Walmart. In my memory, there's always been at least one iteration on the freaking shelves. You know what I mean? You get the stupidity involved. Sometimes it's not always a political agenda, but they're just trying to cash in. And like I said, with MGM, look what they did with trying to cash in with Death Wish of all things. And RoboCop, they just damn near destroyed RoboCop over stupidity, just thinking they could be pretentious and bring it back without doing it proper, and I think they're learning their lesson a little bit. Child's Play was a little bit better, but again, that was a situation where if they wouldn't have made it Child's Play, if it would have just been its own thing, then MGM could have had this really cool new franchise to hang up on, and it didn't have to be connected to Child's Play. I think that's what drug it down. And then, they got the Bill and Ted 3 was the right direction. You're not rebooting it. You're bringing back the original cast, as many people as possible. You're passing the torch on, and they learned that with Ghostbusters. Now that's going to come out next. I think those two films are going to be another big kick to the groin to Hollywood if they turn out well and they aren't completely woke like some of the other stuff. But Terminator's been destroyed by it. Charlie's Angels of all things has been destroyed by it. We're talking about a feminist icon from the 70s, that television show was, and they managed to screw that up with this movement too. So again, it's not always that, but it is very hovered around this idea that everything has to be woke now. And really, in the end, like Star Trek Discovery is the one we always bring up. It's not even really doing anything that's diverse, because Star Trek's always been diverse at its core. It's the fact that they're toting these people out there and putting them on a podium. It's like, oh, we've got the token black actress, we've got the token this actor, we've got the token gay guy, we've got the token wheelchair guy. It's like, that's great. Thumbs up.
Throwing off the token gays too.
Yeah, but you forgot that out of all the captains, yeah, we've had 3 white ones. Only one was American. Really? So they've been always pretty diverse, if you ask me. But anyway, that's
I was watching Star Trek. Was it 5 or 4? The Undiscovered Country. What's the one where they go to the California in the 80s?
That was the fourth.
That was 4.
That
was
Save the Whales.
The whales one. Yeah.
I miss when Star Trek was at least kind of fun. I mean,
Yeah.
that movie doesn't have any action hardly, but it's still an enjoyable film. That's what I've always liked about sci-fi though too, and I think Star Wars does this a little bit in its TV and offshoot stuff. Marvel does this for sure in the MCU, but you can take like the overarching brand, we'll use Marvel, and you can give us an action film, a science fiction space film, a horror film, this, that, and the other. I did like when Star Trek you could have a little bit of leeway. Now I don't know. I'm not really watching everything that's going on with it, but at least from the J.J. Abrams movies and was it Justin Lin or whoever directed that third one, they've put themselves into a smaller box, and I think it also represents the thought process behind all of these things. You get people that are just like, this is what we have. I came down from corporate, and this is what we're going to do because this is what science fiction is to me. And they just, I don't know, they lose the subtle nuances and the things that make these things great.
Yeah, the J.J. Abrams films weren't so much the woke issue, and actually there really wasn't there. There it was just no idea of what he was doing, period. He had no idea what Trek really was, and he was trying to make it Star Wars. That's really what it was in the end.
They couldn't even make Star Wars.
Yeah, and then we went and did that.
Real quick, not real quick, but like we said, folks, Clownfish TV has the first hour with us, so I'm going to read the super chats directed at them, and then we're going to talk about Doctor Who and stuff.
And we got to say hail to everybody that Gary sent over here from Nerdrotic.
Well, thank you, Gary. Thanks for showing us some love, and thanks for everybody here for joining us tonight. We have Clownfish TV joining us, so make sure you guys are subscribed to them. They just hit 100,000, yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was weird.
That was weird.
Yeah.
It's a good feeling, isn't it?
Yeah. It was really surreal though. I sat there waiting for it to suddenly something a bunch of people unsubscribe and it go under again or something for a while, and it took a while for it to sink in.
We got so many people that hate us. I'm like, I wouldn't put past somebody to buy 50,000 fake subs.
Okay, why would they spend the money? I hate you. I'm gonna spend the money.
You'd be surprised. Spite can be a powerful motivator.
One of these days we'll talk off air, and I'll tell you some of the lengths people went to against our channel with the comic stuff. So you wouldn't believe.
I probably would, but yeah, I think everybody here's probably had run-ins, I'm sure.
I enjoy, as of late, I've seen a couple prominent people have been mentioning us again, which is kind of cool, like this guy from IGN. So I'm going to reach out to him. I don't know if anyone's heard of Colin Moriarty. He used to be on the podcast.
Yeah. He's pretty solid, actually.
Yeah, one of our listeners.
Is that the same guy that was from Ain't It Cool News?
Yeah.
Oh, it was okay. I've never.
I think so. I think he was on Collider
Moriarty. Yeah,
I think he was on Collider for a while too.
But he was talking about the Star Wars toy videos and name dropping us. So I'm like, cool. Maybe I'll try to reach out and branch out, because it's funny how the people out there, try to smear our names, all of us, not just us, but all of us, and then they listen to the content and they go, "This is what people are all up in arms about,"
Yeah.
Actually, today I seen the nicest non-hit piece about us I've ever seen.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were saying we were wrong, but they didn't attack us at all. They backed up their claims with some evidence, and it's like, all right, that's cool.
Send me the piece.
I'll have to look for it again. Yeah, I think I might have the link somewhere here, but yeah, I will.
So let me give the respect to the audience.
I think it was that inverse. I think that's the one it was, Frag off Felger Crab. I think that's the one I'm talking about, the inverse one, if I'm not mistaken.
Ooh, MacGyver sent you, Mike. MacGyver's the man. Mullet or not mullet? Anyway, folks, first off, Cesare Japan says, new address to send stuff. Had to delay the Beverly Hills Cop CED because I was sent something else to add to the package, and it took a while to receive. Cesare Japan, if you stick around, I'm going to have Jesse tell me the P.O. Box address, and I'll put that in the chat for you, and we'll tweet that out, because right now we're going to share one. So thank you for the CED. That means I have every format of Beverly Hills Cop available, and I'm set for life. So unless they release a new format, post Blu-ray, there we go. We have a giant super chat from Raiders of the Lost Flicks. Thank you very much. Who controls the past controls the future. Who controls the present controls the past. George Orwell. All geek culture has been sacrificed on an altar of partisan politics. Please give a sign that it will eventually end. I'm taking a screenshot of that because that's excellent. What do you guys think about that?
Go ahead.
Do it. I think the pendulum's swinging. I think it's swinging back to middle. It just seems like people are tired of it. They're getting tired of it. Even the media outlets. That's why I said before, like, are these people sincere about, these articles that they write? I don't think they are necessarily. I think a lot of them are sort of testing the weather to see, what's going to play well. And we're seeing a lot of, we covered it the other day, Comic Book Resources, which, has really kind of gone on the offensive against fans, is all of a sudden agreeing with fans about The Last Jedi. And now it depends on the writer, obviously, but there's some stuff going on that makes me think that, there might be some quiet support behind the scenes.
Well, even Screen Rant recently has come out against Doctor Who, saying, "Hey, huge plot holes because of this ending." And so, yeah, there's a few people here and there that are kind of agreeing with this because they're like, we're not getting anything for shilling for this anyway.
Even Scott Mendelson, the man who said the failure of Solo was the fault of white men, has gone back and changed his stance on a lot of stuff. Look, it's not about like I told you so type of thing, but it is I told you. No, in all seriousness, the pendulum is swinging back, and I think a lot of people, like they said, like you guys said, don't see the need to shill anymore because there's no money in it. I know a lot of YouTubers that used to shill hard for Disney pre-Last Jedi were like, hey, we're changing our stance because we want people to watch us. I think if the Fandom Menace has done anything, if there's a book written by author Stephen Walton, I believe there's going to be multiple books. I think we're in the third one, or at least I'm helping with the third one. But the point is, if there's anything we've done, we just put the sunglasses on people and let you guys see, look, this is what happens, and this is how the structure of it all goes. And I don't try to self-aggrandize or build us up to be anything more than that, but people notice. That's why Esquire will go out of their way to write about Doomcock and I. That's why people will put out pieces about us because, if anything, we've just said, hey, this is what you guys do, and the audience is there. And they
that one where they called you a racist?
Yes, they said I was racist against black people. The last time I looked, I wasn't white, but hey, fuck me, right? I love that, how people can't determine. Funny. It's like, I get it, okay? I talk a certain way. Deal with it.
Oh my god. Well, look, we look at what's going on with comic books right now, and I don't know how familiar you are with the Sean Gordon Murphy situation, where they're trying to cancel him because he dared work with Doug TenNapel, and he's working with Blake Northcott, and he's a little too chummy with Comicsgate for their liking. But the thing is that a lot of people, we thought 2017 was behind us, but now we've got some people pushing really, really hard to get that last kick in, I think, before the pendulum finally does, go back to center. That's why Dan Slott's acting up again. That's why we're starting to see, some of the really, really far left people, I think, out there that are, starting to write the hit pieces. And it's just kind of that last, it feels like a last, gasp, like desperation, like, no, don't listen to them. No, they really are Nazis. Really, trust me, and I think people are starting to see through it.
Yeah. Chat's like, Jeff's not white. Yes, I'm not white, but I'm also not black. So I'll leave it to you to figure out, put it like that. And yes, I'm in an interracial relationship, no matter what relationship I'm in. So there we go. It's funny too, how like, I've noticed this, how like, it's like a qualifier why a piece of entertainment's great. It's like, it's created by this group of people. I'm like, I don't care if it's created by blind immigrants from Nova Scotia. If it's good, it's good. I'll watch it. I'll consume it. I don't really have a bias against anything that's quality. If it's shit, well, I'm going to call you on it. By the way, folks, we have 1,791 watching every Tuesday, guys. We have the High Council at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you guys are subscribed to this channel to check it out. While you're here, make sure you subscribe to our guests on ClownFish TV. As well as Midnight's Edge After Dark and Mecha Random 42, so you don't miss out on any of this quality content. We're putting stuff out every day. So if you want something from me, every other day I'm here. ClownFish TV every day. Midnight's Edge After Dark all the time. Mecha. I don't think you ever leave your office. So
no, I'm here. I make like 27 videos a day. And...
That's why she don't have to worry about the beer bug.
Yeah.
That we'll talk about that at the end of the show if you guys want. It's getting stupid. Did you hear E3 might be canceled? I
wouldn't be surprised. I mean, it makes sense, but
all I know is that until they cancel WrestleMania, I'm still going. So, Space Monkey 0899 says, "Boys and girls, it's time to pirate anime again. Why? Because we don't support censorship." Did something big go down that I missed?
Well,
in Australia.
Oh well, I don't know. They got a lot. They got a lot of things going on. There was an Australian senator who was calling for anime to be banned if it looked like it could potentially be. He likened it to, was it child exploitation if the characters are under 18?
But they had no trouble explaining children on Doctor Who.
Yeah, right.
But then there was that, and there was the thing with the Broly thing that they changed.
Oh Dragon Ball Super Broly, which stars Vic Mignogna, mysteriously disappeared from the Funimation website, and people were theorizing that they're redubbing it with Johnny Young Bosch, who was he was in Power Rangers, and he's a voice actor now. He's a new voice of Broly, and so people think that they pulled it off the website. Viz just hired a guy who 100% loves censorship in anime.
Oh yeah. You were talking about it earlier.
Yeah. So, and he's working for Viz now. So people are concerned. And again, we're seeing in anime now, we're seeing the same kind of thing we saw in comics, the same kind of thing we're seeing in science fiction. They're just moving on. It's like the same kinds of people moving on to another genre of pop culture. They blew through games. They blew through comics. They're blowing through, Star Wars and Star Trek and Doctor Who. And now they're moving on to anime and manga,
I'd like to think, though, that gaming actually blew back.
Yes.
And really pushed those people into their place, and they had to move to something. I love comics, folks. I've dedicated tons of my life to drawing and stuff, but comics aren't as important societally or culturally right now, sadly, as a video game is. Everyone games. Even if it's on your phone, you're gaming a little bit. It's on Facebook. It's the digital part of life. We've become what people would write about in the past. But thankfully, games like, we're going to still put out our Call of Duties. We're going to put out this. We're going to have our jiggle effects in some games. It's just, it makes money. I like I said, money is less of an evil motivator than some of this agenda shit that goes on.
Well, let me tell you a story. I have a friend of mine, and we were talking about the situation. I don't even know if I'm allowed to utter its name, that happened in gaming 5 or 6 years ago. And he told me the problem with comics, the reason that comics went downhill as quickly as comics did, is comics was too nice. Comics did not push back until it was too late. And, he said, hopefully that was a lesson learned.
I don't think they still push back yet.
They haven't.
As much as they should, yeah.
No, comics is just like, oh, sure, just come in, kick us in the face again. Whereas anime and manga, they're going to run into the same group of people they ran into in gaming, because there's a lot, that Venn diagram, that geek Venn diagram, gamers and anime fans, they're pretty close. When they share similar interests and similar attitudes, and I think they're in for it. If they're gonna try to censor anime, they're in for a fight, I think.
Yep. It'll be interesting to see, we'll just call this group, this parasitic group that goes through a good time and entertainment. When they run out of things to do, will they just, implode? Do you think they'll start going after each other? Do you think that, all the people who weathered all the bullshit and watched all their favorite franchises die, do you think we're going to watch from the sidelines with a little bit of schadenfreude as they eat themselves?
They already are. They already are. I mean, what you see on Twitter every day, if you're not pure enough, you get cast out.
I am not on Twitter at all. I don't have time for that shit.
Oh my God. It's crazy. I mean, there were some people out there that were throwing major shade at Comicsgate. They were very, very anti-Comicsgate, and they stepped out of line. I think it was something stupid. What was that guy's name?
I don't follow it, so I don't know.
Tim Doyle, is that his name? I don't know. Anyway, he was going to back one candidate over another candidate, and they just completely ate him alive and disowned him. And
because it wasn't the right candidate.
It wasn't the right candidate.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
He wasn't a Bernie bro, I guess, was what was going on. They'll totally, they'll totally eat their own. Yep, they will.
Our friend The Fixer says, hey guys, I know most of you aren't into gaming, but you really need to try Black Mesa. It's by far the best first-person shooter I've ever played. It's so beautiful. Don't believe me? Look up images for Black Mesa Zen, X-E-N.
It's Squid King's favorite game.
Oh,
it's a remake of Half-Life 1.
Okay. Is that what we're talking about? I guess.
Kind of-ish. I guess it has their blessing, but it's not official.
Because Black Mesa is a song, so... From Portal, she talks about Black Mesa. That was a joke. Haha, fat chance.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's the remake of Half-Life fan remake of Half-Life 1. Pretty sure.
Have you seen the GoldenEye fan remake?
No, I've heard about it.
Man, I'm following it closely. I'm gonna get a couple people, because GoldenEye is my favorite Bond movie. He turns 25 this year. I am friends with a couple people, have some connections with people that are making the game and the music. We're gonna do a Bond thing, but it's all over Facebook, man, and it looks fantastic. I mean, I would consider getting a new gaming PC or all gaming PC just to play this. I love fan projects. Sometimes they're better than the real deal.
Yeah, well, that's where that spark that used to be in the mainstream is going to have fan projects, I think. Because we don't have to deal with the corporate bullshit, so we can still make new things. You know, we can still
imagine that there's creativity when it's not done by committee.
Yeah, right.
Hey, Lucasfilms, you know, you need to listen to that.
Yeah.
Well, so what do you guys take on? What is your take on the MCU then? Because I mean, I'll admit, up until Captain Marvel, I never walked out of a theater disappointed or even upset. And then we get to Endgame, we get through it, it's fun, everybody likes it, and now we're moving into this next generation. But I mean, that was definitely creativity by community. But where do you think the community, or excuse me, the committee from like a Marvel to a Star Wars differs? Like, what do you think are the restrictions or the regulations from the parent company?
I have no idea. Go ahead. You want to say something?
No, I was pointing to you.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I think here's the problem they're going to run into. I think a lot of people were on board until they got through Endgame. And then I think a lot of people were like, okay, I'm dedicating it till then. I think even Captain Marvel, the reason it got so many views as it did was because people thought I have to see it to see Endgame. And I think what's going to happen is now you're going into this new territory where there's a bunch of films that, you know, you have your, you know, a couple characters like Black Widow and things who should have had a movie sooner. But there's a lot of these like Eternals and stuff that if you're not a comic book person, you're not going to know what the hell it's about. And they're not really showing you what it's about. So I think that it's going to drop. I mean, if it's good or not, I think people aren't going to go as much because they're kind of out now.
Yeah, Endgame felt like the end. It really did feel like the end. And it was a letdown, I think, for you know, a lot of people. Didn't, you know, it wasn't as good. Like, I don't think it was as good, nearly as good as Infinity War.
Thank you.
I didn't like it. I thought the same thing.
Yeah, I haven't watched it. We watched it in the theater. We bought it on digital. I haven't watched it since. Infinity War,
I didn't
watched
like it
3 times.
as much the first time, and then the second time I watched it, I thought it was a little better. So I don't know.
I turned it off my second viewing. I was on an airplane, and I had plenty of time to watch it. And I was like, I just don't have that zest for Marvel that I used to. And it's nothing to do with any of the politics from Brie Larson or any of the people that make the movies. I'm like, you know what? This was awesome when I went to go see it. I was into it, and I lost it. I've lost my love for Marvel Cinematic Universe stuff.
I think it's going to take a hit. I really do. I think that you have some characters people know, but I think it's going to be a lot of people are just done because they went, 10 years and then it was over. And then a lot of people don't know these other characters. So they're just like, why should I care? And then it's not, I think when you have stories that are about story and character first, who happen to be diverse characters or diverse stories, but it's mostly about the story, people will come. I think what happens is we're seeing with this other thing, they're really worried about pushing an agenda over a story. And I think that's going to bite them in the ass because they need to tell a good story. And from what I'm hearing, I don't think story is at the front of their mind is the most important thing.
Yeah, Phase 4 definitely has a mandate, I think, compared to the previous phases.
I've never been so unexcited for an official MCU phase as I am now. Because, I mean, let's go back, 12 years to Iron Man. I'm like, wow, this trailer looks incredible. An Iron Man movie? I'm on board. Saw it, loved it. Incredible Hulk, I liked it at the time. I saw it twice in theaters. Then each one I enjoyed. I was like, yes, I'm on board. Avengers, favorite theater experience. And I stuck it out, man. Like, I've never really had even Star Wars, for as much as I love it and talk about it on this channel, there were years where I got out of Star Wars based on, I didn't like Episode 1 that much. So I'm like, you know what? I'm done with Star Wars. I got into wrestling, other stuff, eventually found my way back to Star Wars. But for 12 years straight, I never lost any interest in the MCU proper. And now it's like, well, we got the WandaVision show. Okay, we got Captain Falcon, or not Captain Falcon, excuse me, the Winter Soldier and the Falcon. That's going to be big, I guess. I don't know. It got shut down due to COVID-19. There's all these things that are just coming out, and I'm not saying it to fall in line with what my people or what the people think my channel is about, or any of our channels. I'm not saying it to be that negative guy, but it's just I just feel nothing. It's emptiness.
We're the same. We don't say things unless we mean it. It's funny. We get so much crap because you guys know what you're talking about. You're so full of crap, and then it comes out to be right, and we're like, "See, we told you." But
they'll never give that to you, though. Trust me.
Well, the one person did say they resubscribed. What did they say to us? They unsubscribed because thought we were full of crap, and then they resubscribed when everything we said came true.
Yeah,
but
I was like, oh,
but that's because we have a different angle on it. But yeah, it's just. Go ahead. What's what you're gonna say?
No, it does feel like with the MCU, I think you can be too successful. You can strangle a successful franchise, and again, I think it's Disney's arrogance. We saw with Star Wars; they thought Star Wars was just going to print money.
He said, "Just to slap Star Wars on it."
Bob Iger said it. Yeah, the theme park. He's like, just throw Star Wars on.
We don't have to advertise.
We don't have to do anything. It's Star Wars. People are just going to come, and I think they're getting into that mode with Marvel now too. They're like, we can just put out any movie and just slap the Marvel label on it, and people are going to give us $1 billion.
We can change whatever for no reason. It doesn't matter. It's because it's Marvel. They'll come.
It's Marvel. They'll come.
And if they don't, we'll tell them what bad people they are.
And I think they're in for a very rude awakening. because all the characters that people cared about are dead or sidelined at this point.
Yeah,
yes and no. You got the X-Men and F4 coming, but yeah, I know what you guys are saying.
Well, I always said to you, Tom, like Fantastic Four, I don't think has the same power that we think they do. You know, it's a big name. It's
if
coming.
they do it right, it will.
It's got. I think it's one of those things that it's got to come out and look great, and then word of mouth will help it go big. But I don't see the Fantastic Four movie at Marvel breaking any opening weekend box office.
Oh yeah, it's been tarnished badly by the last few movies, but X-Men, on the other hand, as long as they don't screw it up. But again, you know, sadly, I keep hearing the offices, they can't refer to them about anything but mutants. So,
oh god,
I heard that too, actually.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, look, if you want to see where the X-Men and the Fantastic Four were, the last two movies, the Fox movies, both franchises, both bombs, massive bombs. So they got a lot to overcome to get people back on board.
Well, that's just because they overstayed their welcome too.
Yeah,
Logan should have been the end. Period.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, New Mutants, did you guys hear how there were no reshoots?
That's bullshit. Yeah, because that director, I do think there were. He just wasn't involved from what we heard. But that doesn't matter because the version they're putting out is the version he did originally because it tested fine to begin with. But from what we heard, maybe they never got to the reshoots. That part's possible. But they called for them and they wanted to make the movie R-rated and closer to it. That was the whole motivation for it in the first place. That was why it got sidelined to begin with. And then the Disney thing happened. So then it got sidelined even more because then they weren't sure. Then they did like some unspoken deal with Disney that they'd hold off because they weren't sure what they were going to do with X-Men properties yet. Because then remember, I don't even, when did they because they pushed back Phoenix too, didn't they?
Yeah, it was supposed to come out Christmas. I thought it was supposed to come out around Christmas time.
Yeah, because that was their deal was they were going to hold off until they decided what they were going to do with them.
Did you watch that movie? Anybody here?
I have it, but I haven't watched it yet just because I got it on like for Black Friday or whatever it was for dirt cheap.
I don't know I don't know why people call it the worst X-Men movie because clearly, or at least my opinion, Apocalypse was a much harder watch for me. I can never watch X-Men Apocalypse again. This one was like a slight step forward, maybe almost a lateral step, less offensive of a villain, had some interesting ideas, but X-Men needs a refresher. I mean, like I said, everything that's old is new again. The 90s are cool. Come on, give us Rogue in the jacket and the big permed hair and all that shit. It'll work on film. Come on, we got all this other crap we're watching on film.
Yeah,
Squirrel Girl.
If Disney wanted to give us faith in the X-Men, or at least what they were trying to try and do, the best thing they could have done is killed these last two movies for sure. And if anything, just threw them on a streaming service so we knew that they were like ramping up for something big and they didn't want this to tarnish this. Because the reason I say that is because now with these two movies getting released, that makes me scared that they're not going to mess with the X-Men for some time.
Yeah, well, we've heard it's going to be at least 5 or 6 years. I want to see you're talking about the classic X. I want to see 90s Jim Lee X-Men on film. Yes. I want to see X-Men the animated series on film. I want that theme music at the beginning of the movie.
I want to hear like an orchestral version of it for sure. Yeah. They did with the Spider-Man theme. That was awesome.
I mean, that would absolutely bring people there. If you show people the actual X-Men, because the X-Men we got at Fox were like the budget cut X-Men. The first couple X-Men movies were made on the cheap. They tried to make them realistic. We tried to tell everybody's wearing black. They're not wearing spandex. Haha, spandex. No, man, just balls to the wall. I want freaking comic book accurate X-Men.
Well, their spandex will be balls.
Yeah, there'll be balls. There'll be lots of balls. There's lots of balling in X-Men right now, by the way, on the moon. But I want to see a live action version of the Jim Lee animated series X-Men, Gambit and Rogue and Cyclops and that uniform. That's what I want. That's what I want. Do it. Yes.
You said so, so do it.
This is it right here. This is it. That is what we need.
Well, I don't know if you follow the same train of thought I do, but usually the merchandise dictates what's going to sell. Like, for example, last year they did the Jim Lee X-Men, like almost a good chunk of them. They did, Gambit, another Wolverine, all these figures they came out and they were all hugely popular and they have to know what goes on. So I like to think that when Hasbro puts out stuff, Disney pays close attention to see what representation of the characters work, what's in demand. I mean, remember the big push about X-Men the animated series was on Disney Plus and we're going to get excited for it. Like that was like their big Marvel show that people talked about. And I don't think that show's ever really lost any of its luster. Yes, the last season sucks. It was a mistake to change the theme song in season 3 or 2 or 4, whenever they changed it. But like, this is X-Men to like a big generation. You know, we all watched the show as kids, or we watched it as adults or in high school, whatever. This stuck around. You know, when you Google these characters, you still get these costumes. This is a newer comic book cover that Jim Lee comes back and draws this shit from time to time, where they dust off old shit like this. I mean, nostalgia is powerful. And Disney holds all the nostalgic chips. Why not use them properly and make themselves money and make us happy? Because if you're making good shit, we're all going to enjoy it. We're not going to sit and bitch about it. Still, what we're going to do is when you change it, subvert our expectations, and do all these terrible things to our favorite franchises, then we get pissed. Then we push back. Well,
they can get away with it too. The smartest thing I think Disney did was, go in on Cosmic Marvel with Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, they can put any ridiculous looking thing in a movie at this point. So we can get, Wolverine in yellow spandex, and it's going to be totally fine, as long as you got the right actor playing them. And this is the X-Men everybody wants. Just like Batman, just make a freaking Batman animated series movie already, and just, adapt some of the better episodes into a kick-ass movie. Give us that version of Harley Quinn, and people will be thrilled.
They'll find a way to ruin it.
No, they'll find a way.
Honestly, I don't care. Just give me Howard the Duck.
Put it on Disney Plus. No, see, I don't know. What are you guys' take on Disney Plus? Do you think it's the service that's going to revolutionize everything, or do you think it came out hot and it's gone really cold quickly? I mean,
we just did a video on this. Actually, we haven't put it up yet. We're just talking about it. Go ahead.
Oh no, the story seems to be that Bob Iger, the reason he stepped down in a hurry, is to try to patch the holes in Disney Plus, because it was his baby, and I think they're trying to get before he leaves next year. That seems to be that. But yeah, that's it. They had the man. I mean, what it reminds me of? It reminds me of a really ill-conceived video game console launch. Like, we're gonna launch the console, and we got one killer app and then a bunch of crap, and you're gonna have to wait a year until we get another good game. And that's what Disney Plus reminds me of. They had The Mandalorian, and that's it.
They did it too soon. They should have waited until they had more stuff. And they have a lot of stuff for kids. They have their classic catalog, but even the classic catalog, they're not bringing everything out, and then they're censoring a lot of things in it. And I don't know. I just think it was a bad move. And a lot of their subs are bragging about, which they did get a lot, but how many of those are the free Verizon, ones that were given out for free? Yeah. And we were in on the, you were in on the investor call, because we have stock. And when the people were asking them questions, he kept wanting to make it about Disney Plus, and he wouldn't answer the Star Wars questions. They're like, "Why Star Wars suck? Let me tell you about Disney Plus. What can we expect with number of Star Wars? Let me tell you more about Disney Plus." And so the investors were told it was going to be the silver bullet to the company, and that wasn't the case.
Yep, I don't think it's going to go well, and I think as soon as HBO Max comes out, HBO Max is going to be the real Netflix competitor, because they've got this figured out. They've got all kinds of new content coming. They're even dusting off Adventure Time. They're going to give us another season of Adventure Time. Cartoon Network. They're going to have tons of content at launch, and that's one thing Disney didn't have. They were so worried about getting the platform up, they didn't have the content.
Yeah,
I think we're going to see Amazon be one of the people that surprise a lot of us. In terms of let's say there's this big streaming war that we've been talking about. You guys have talked about it on Midnight's Edge, Tom. Let's say the streaming war happens. There's casualties. Streaming services are cut left and right. I think at the end of the day, Amazon will be pretty cemented in, because it's essentially a free bonus for people that want free shipping.
Yeah, it's the sleeping monster for sure. Yeah. Because I've been saying the same thing. I said D Plus was dropped now just so they could compete with HBO Max, but everybody just kind of ignores Amazon. And Amazon has this deal where they've got tons and tons of other streaming services on their platform, to where that's going to be, I think, one of the clinching deals, because then that makes you feel like you're not going 20 different places to watch everything.
Dude, Amazon's got all the big Avenger movies on there currently for free to stream if a Prime member. It's like get Disney Plus to watch all this exclusive content, but right now, I can watch the Avengers, some of the Iron Man movies, all this shit on Amazon Prime. So right there, to me, that cuts into the gotta have it now mentality of Disney Plus. It's like, oh, sign up for a year in advance. It's like, why? I'll just get it for free type of thing. So
yeah, what's going to be out in the next year? Like, you're gonna have to wait a year or two to get any Marvel or Star Wars shows.
They just released Black Panther on Disney Plus. They made a big deal about it all over Instagram.
Oh, no one's ever seen that before.
Oh, I know.
Okay.
Well, I mean, that that's the thing. It's with Disney Plus, it's a lot of films that like, oh, get Star Wars. Star Wars has been on home video since what, 1981?
Exactly. I've got 90% of the shit on there. Yeah. And most people who have kids and stuff probably do too.
Yeah. So, folks, we've reached about the first hour mark here on the High Council, and our friends from ClownFish TV have to go. So before you guys do head out, is there anything you'd like to say, promote, tell the audience where they can find you, what you got coming out, anything exciting like that?
Okay, well, we're on ClownFish TV on YouTube. Just Google us. You'll find us, and we always have hot takes coming out every day, pretty much. Don't really have anything to promote, but we really appreciate meeting everybody here. It was nice to meet everyone, and thanks for having us on.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, you guys have a standing invite to come on anytime you'd like. We'd love to have you back for some other conversations, pick up where the Brie Larson stuff ended. And yeah, we're going to talk about that in a minute, folks. And we have Yellow Flash coming in a little later, and maybe an appearance by Cecil. Who knows? But guys, thanks for joining us. And everyone, make sure you guys are subscribed to ClownFish TV. They just hit 100K in the subscribers. So congratulations to you guys. It's a lot of hard work. I've been there before, but you put out great content. You definitely deserve it.
Thank you. And thanks, everybody, for subscribing.
Yeah, thanks so much, guys.
Nice meeting you, and congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Nice meeting everybody. Nice to meet you, Mecca. Nice to meet you, Midnight's Edge. And we're going to go.
Yeah, we'll catch you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. So that was a lot of fun. Tom, I wish they could have stayed the whole time, man. We had a good thing going back and forth, especially the He-Man shit.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't try to brush off those topics if people are like, why don't you talk about Doctor Who more? Guys, I stopped watching. It got shitty to me right at the end of Matt Smith. So
that's when I dipped then, and then I watched them to catch up to the new season, and then with the new season I did it for YouTube, like when season 11 happened. And yeah, it's been bad since.
Dr. Meatball, Cecil's not going to do that on a live stream, okay? Sorry, I'm just reading the chat right now. Folks, you guys are insane tonight. So, let's see. Where were we at? Brie Larson. Have you guys seen the Nissan commercial?
Oh, yeah. It was great.
I watched it, and I thought, I got a whole video I wrote about this. I'm going to record it and get it up for tomorrow. Why her? What about Brie Larson makes a person go, I'm going to get a car?
Because they wanted to go full Gillette times 10.
I think they just wanted they wanted the parrot analytics. They wanted people talking about it. And if you look at it, they wanted to go the Ghostbusters route where they can put something out there and then play the victim afterwards. I mean, if you look at it, it's so downvoted right now. It's like, I think it
does Brie Larson even have a license?
What was that?
Does Brie Larson even have a license?
Oh, probably. I'm sure she does.
You think so?
Probably.
Oh my god! Holy shit! Even the refuse to compromise, the explanation of the commercial has. Hold on, I'll show the screen. What the hell am I doing? This is a fucking video show. Why am I just trying to read it to everyone? Check this out. Look at the thumbs down already. All right, 516 thumbs up.
Ouch!
7,625 thumbs down, and not a damn person in the Fandom Menace sent you to go thumbs down that video.
This one is so much better. No, I was laughing at it because this is the next I see people. She's talking about like the universe is female and all this shit, like just all this double talk, like she's high as a kite. I love it. We gotta listen to this one. This is the best. I don't think.
Yeah, the best part is when she's bitching about how she didn't get a job, even though she felt she was qualified.
Yeah,
the only job she's ever had is a fucking actress. So that means that she's bitching about getting a job over another woman.
You know, these people don't live in the real world. It's I'm trying to think of a good movie example. I don't know. It'd be like, you ever seen the movie Not Quite Human? It's an old Disney movie that was like made for TV. Had Alan Thicke in it. He makes a robot chip, and he's not quite human. He tries to be a human. That's what Brie Larson feels like to me. She's not quite human. She doesn't get it. I mean, if you were to take Brie Larson's cell phone and all of her credit cards away for a week, and you said, here's $500, get around, and you can stay in this apartment, and you have to function properly. Like, I don't think she'd be able to do it. You know, I don't think she's ever had that. Jesse, what'd you say? She was 8 years old when she got famous?
8 years old when she moved to Hollywood and started living.
Mhm.
And she's what, 30 right now, maybe?
About 30, yeah.
So for 22 years of her 30-year existence, she's been so privileged. So I love how she wants to talk down to the white dudes that she's going to cut down a peg or two and be like, yo, let me put you on your level. Brie Larson, let me put you on your level. You're full of shit. No one likes you.
You gotta watch this. This is amazing. She is just out of her goddamn mind in this one, and it's a treasure. This one, I'm gonna have to record it and meme the fuck out of it.
I'm definitely gonna. I wrote the video, not even seeing this one yet.
Yeah,
See,
I had a video all ready to go. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, keep talking. I was just saying I had a video. International Women's Day does not mean International Brie Larson Day.
No. Oh, and that was another thing about that tweet about International Women's Day, but no, I had a video all ready to go, just laughing at the downvote, and then I saw my next thing in the recommendation was, and here's the explanation for it. I'm like, oh fuck. So I've got that one. I'll probably put that on Patreon or something, like my outtake.
Oh yeah, the explanations where she was bitching about not getting a job. Sorry.
Yeah, the explanation's so much better than just the commercial. Like the explanation is she's basically, yeah, she's bitching that she didn't get a job. She's going out there saying, you know, you just have to be, I can't even remember it. I wish Transcendental Cthulhu, one of my viewers, was here. He would he's just quoting back what she was saying in this explanation thing. It's just all this like nonsense double talk cult member speak almost.
Well, did you see right here, Mecca? The comments have been turned off on the official Nissan channel.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, I thought this was Nissan with their, it's an international company, a car manufacturer. They bent the knee. Oh, we got to protect Brie Larson, so we're going to turn off comments. Jesus. You can't even comment on this anymore. What if you said to yourself after this commercial, I'm really inspired by this dropping of the taco. I want to go buy a Nissan Sentra. I can't comment on it.
I'm concerned for the woman. Like, okay, did she get her fired? You know, the girl's clearly not qualified anyway, and
I'm going to share an article here real quick. Somebody should send this article to them.
Oh, dude, it's like you read my script for my video.
Not million, folks. Billion. You got to imagine that's a large portion.
Well, like I said in the video, if a company wants to throw away $8 billion, I'll give you my information. Just send me $8 billion.
No shit, right?
A lot of money. Jesus, we'll do stupid shit. You ever seen like The Toy or not even Brewster's Millions, because that wouldn't work. Blank Check. Give me $8 billion. I'll live the real life version of Blank Check.
mm-hmm.
I'll buy everyone that I can a car in the Fandom Menace. You need a way to work?
$1 million and like I'll promote the crap out of Gillette. I'll do it for $100,000 and I'll promote Gillette.
And I can't imagine Nissan's like up there at the top of car sales either.
Well, no, they're kind of crap. I mean, they're mediocre.
And Gillette was the top of their game. That's what I'm getting at here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here we go. Here's for 2020, the top selling trucks and cars of 2019. Just for the fuck of it, since we're talking about Brie Larson and all this stuff, because that's one thing you can never, at least not you guys, but people out there that dislike the Fandom Menace, we always do our due diligence. We put in the work, we put in the time, we get the facts and figures, and we talk about this stuff. Maybe you don't like our opinions, but we're not pulling out of our asses just to gain points. But I mean, let's see. 20, the Nissan Sentra. So Nissan is it is barely passing into the top 20 right here. So the news isn't great. Sentra sales were down 13% compared to last year. So do you think that Brie Larson's going to help the sales of Nissan go up in 2020, or do you think they'll stay stagnant?
No. They're way down at 20. Wow.
No, it's gonna tank. People don't want them. People are like, thanks for reminding me I won't buy a Nissan.
Well, I was going a little more in depth in how this Gen Z millennial desire to own a car is almost non-existent. So I understand from a sales tactic, we need to sell to this demographic. The people who consider cars a necessity are dying out, and eventually we're going to be stuck in a situation where we're not selling as many cars and the world's going to become whatever.
So you pick the group that's going to buy electric cars if they do.
And you also pick an actress that really has no relevancy to that generation or that demographic. Oh, she was Captain Marvel. That was $1 billion picture last year. Why wouldn't you just get literally anyone else from those movies? I'd rather buy a car from fucking Dave Bautista or...
I was just going to say, yeah. Get Samuel Jackson. At least he drove the bitch around in that movie.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
so even driving her own car.
Samuel
Get a
Jackson
Nissan.
made me reconsider getting a Capital One credit card. Okay.
You know you want to drive it, motherfucker.
Yeah.
You
I'm
can't
reading
afford
that.
nothing else.
You can't spell Nissan without ass. Well, Brie Larson doesn't have one, and I don't have a Nissan. I'm writing that part down. That's my
That's
own.
definitely not America's ass.
Sorry, I'm just laughing at this.
Oh, that was good. Yeah, driving Miss Larson. That's yeah. We used to say driving Miss Marvel, but I can't claim ownership for that one. Rob, I heard that from him first. So
Yeah, I really have a hard time just looking at this part of marketing. I mean, I'm not trying to spoil all of our video takes, but this is called like a social. What is the exact wording? I'm going to give you guys a little taste of what it is. So this kind of commercial is like corporate social responsibility advertisement. It has its own Wikipedia page. There's a ton of examples. The Gillette one is the biggest example of it failing miserably. I mean, you pulled up an image, Tom. Excuse me. Sorry, coronavirus. $8 billion lost. A business exists for one reason, to make money. And when they're not making as much money and they pull this corporate responsibility bullshit, it's to dupe other people into buying a product. If you're walking down the store or down the aisle at Ralph's and you see, oh man, Gillette did this, that, and the other, and they donate 10% of their profits to here, I'm going to buy this razor even though I don't have to shave anything because I want to give whatever. That's how they dupe you, and that's how they trick you.
I'm going to start shaving my balls, honey. What? It's for the children. Huh? No, they're giving away the money to the kids.
You laugh, but people live by that. There's a whole, excuse me.
I know, I just had to make a
old,
joke out of it. It's good. It's a little skit. Jeff's dying of the beer flu over there. Now you regret drinking all that Corona last week, don't you?
I do regret drinking all the Corona, and I'm trying to mute my mic as I'm coughing because for some reason I love the Blue Yeti mic for the sound quality, but their mute button is bullshit. So
I know.
Fix it.
I can tell when you're muting because I can hear the big boop because I'd probably do the same thing when I boop out.
I just mute manually on the web browser.
I'm getting to that point.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, I just don't see why people buy into this stuff or why companies still do it. It doesn't work. It's not about even attacking masculinity. Like, I didn't watch this commercial and think it was this egregious SJW piece of whatever. It was a piece of shit because it was a dumb commercial. I just don't know why businesses think that this mentality is the right way to take advertising. Like, I went to college for advertising. They do tell you that you want to market towards women because they're the demographic that's going to consume the types of commercials and stuff. But this was in 2008 when these types of commercials, these social movement ads weren't really the norm. I think you may have had the Dove body beautification movement and some shit like that. And you know what? If you want to make somebody feel better about themselves by saying, hey, these type of people exist, you're not the only one that's this size, that's cool because everybody wants to feel welcomed and good about themselves. That's not a problem. But when you have a commercial that tells somebody, just because you feel entitled to this promotion, you should get that promotion. You know what? I'm not fucking qualified to go work for NASA. Yeah, it'd be fun, but I'm not qualified. So they don't owe me a job. That's the thing about this mindset. We'll just say SJW mindset. People feel entitled to own things. They feel entitled to have their own lack of qualifications be ignored because of their feelings. That's all they care about.
I wasn't laughing at you, Jeff. I was laughing because that reminded me of another thing she said in that behind the scenes thing. Remember that, Mecca? I can't be it if I can't see it. So I'm like, with that mentality, the first astronaut would have never existed, you dumbass.
You can't be what you can't see.
Or you can't be what you can't see. Insinuating that women can't be something if they don't see another woman doing it.
Is that true? Somebody was the first.
Exactly. And not only that, Procter & Gamble owns Gillette. They wanted to do something for women. You know what they should have done? Give away a bunch of free fucking Tampax or whatever that is the other company they own. Why don't you do that to like a bunch of homeless people and underprivileged women and shit like that? You know, do something real. That's $8 billion you just lost. That other, if you'd have just done what I just said, something for women that actually would have, you know, benefited women, it probably would have cost you next to nothing, and you could have wrote it off.
Yeah, donate $100,000 to a charity. That's all they would have had to do.
Or not just that. Like I said, just give a bunch of, like, they have a bunch of female products they could give away.
Yeah, do good stuff. Well, the thing is, it comes from an old mantra: doing well by doing good.
Exactly.
You know, I've talked about that in videos, especially when it comes to Disney and their handling of the gay character in Onward, the Pixar film that just came out. I said, if you're going to put that in a film, that is awesome, cool. Go do what you want to do. Don't look for brownie points, but then also have the balls to release it in the movie. You know, don't worry about the international cut. We're worried about this market and that market. Like, it's, you know, you're telling us one thing and you're lying to us in another direction. So either don't have this humanitarian stuff in your film and produce a piece of entertainment that we're all just going to like, and don't worry about that kind of stuff in kids' films, or, you know, make it the same everywhere across the board, like the Star Wars kiss. I didn't care that two women kissed in Star Wars at all. That's not a concern for me. But I think it's shitty that you're going to cut it out of international releases so you don't rile the feathers of people. But then you tell us that we're sexist because we complain about bad storytelling in the same film. So, you know, that kind of hypocritical bullshit pisses me off to no end. That's the kind of stuff that drives me and motivates me to make videos and content and do what we do. Because it's like, people are smart enough to notice these things. You don't get to get away with it. That kind of stuff pisses me off to no end.
Well, and I'm not going to say who, but a mother in the Phantom Menace has boys, and she said it's shit like this that pisses her off and scares her for the future. And she knows, she doesn't know, but she's scared of what, you know, her boys are going to have to deal with as they grow into manhood because of all the bullshit that's out there now. You know, are they going to get Me Too'd? Are they, you know, going to be constantly persecuted for being white men or something? You know, it's just, it's kind of scary coming into this kind of shit if you're not anything but, you know, a female or whatever. It's like, I can totally understand that feeling. You know, I mean, I even feel like my kid gets a lot of grief because he's a white male. You know, it's like, what the hell? You know, I've gotten treated differently in the last few years, and it's like, what the shit?
You're just a white dude. What do you know?
Exactly. I mean,
you to speak. You're just a white dude.
I mean, I definitely, when people know who I am, I definitely navigate that argument, but then there's a million other ones that they throw at me. So, I mean, when you complain about somebody's skin color and that invalidates their argument, that is the most racist thing you can say.
Exactly. It's like, I don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
People in the chat, Rage of the Lost Flick, shout out to him. He's a good dude. Give him a subscribe on YouTube. Puts out tons of reviews. Really busting his ass right now to make a name for himself on YouTube. He said Onward is a decent film. It was the publicity that damaged it. I had no interest in it. You guys heard me make fun of it just based on the trailer. I wasn't going to see it. I'm not in that demographic. Only thing I ever said in my videos, I think it's bullshit that Disney doesn't have the nerve to, put out the same cut around the world. And I feel just as strongly about the way they did Iron Man 3, and we've seen articles come out that the Chinese didn't like all the extra stuff and how they treated Transformers with all the product placement. And eventually, as we talked about in the Star Wars video we put out a couple months ago, these international markets lose the interest in the brands. So, Paramount courted China so heavily with Transformers and in introducing all these things, these beliefs, these worldviews, and then the Chinese audience just didn't come back. And then we're stuck with Transformers that got a soft reboot with Bumblebee, and they're out of money. Those movies, upward trajectory, downward trajectory. And if anyone ever gives you bullshit about saying, well, I didn't think the last Star Wars movie was that great or a successful movie in, X, Y, and Z categories, and people say it made $1 billion, well, so did Transformers, 2 through 4? And those are shitty movies. So there we go.
Yeah, bad movies make money all the time. I always say that.
Yes, bad movies make money all the time, and sometimes bad movies are fun. I'm not ashamed to say I love The Room. The Room is my favorite bad movie.
Hi, Mark.
Hi, Danny. For our 500 subscribers special, we did a very drunk commentary of The Room. It's on YouTube if you can find it. It's kind of a hard pill to swallow. It's over on Patreon. You can actually watch the movie with us over there, but it's a lot of fun. The Room holds a very special place in my heart. So if you guys haven't had a chance to check it out, you guys definitely want to. Army of Darkness is a fantastic film. You watch it, Shadowhawk. I'm watching you.
You watch the shit out of it.
Dude.
Rob finally saw it. He had never seen it until Valentine's Day.
I liked it.
And he actually liked it.
I absolutely love it. So speaking of things that I don't like and people don't like, well, hold on. We're gonna transition to her in just a second. Let's get an image pulled up because Mecca, I know you have a lot to talk about, and I know it's kind of one of the hottest issues right now. Again, folks, I can't really get into the Doctor Who stuff because, you know, I can talk about it. I think I will make something about it, but I don't know exactly what's going on with Jodie Whittaker. I'm not a fan. So Doctor Who will be our next segment. It seems to be the hottest topic right now. Shout out to Gary from Nerdrotic, who sent so many of you over here tonight. And make sure you guys are checking out his Doctor Who content, as well as a plethora of other things. And tonight, after this show, I'll be on Mindless Entertainment. What are we doing?
Interrogations. Random interrogations.
Interrogation. So what does that mean? Before you guys click away, you're going to want to watch me on Mindless Entertainment tonight because we're giving you the ability to be on the show. And that's not a joke. Jessie is going to tweet out the link to her StreamYard stream. And we're going to come on. We're going to ask you a series of questions. And if you can hang with us, you can stay for what? 10 minutes is the limit? About 10 minutes. Maybe you're amazing. You impress us and you stay on. Who knows? But it's a game. Are you good enough to hang with us over on Mindless Entertainment?
We'll be interrogating you.
And we'll be interrogating you. You can't ask us shit.
So. Until if you get to the very end, we'll let you ask us each one thing.
Yeah, so hang through the interrogation, ask us one question each, and we can have a lot of fun like that. But Jessie will be tweeting that out, so you're Jessie Milestone on Twitter. Make sure you guys are following her. It's going to get weird, and you never know who's going to pop up. Maybe one of your favorite fandom menacers might get the link and join us. Who knows? But make sure that you guys check it out. And Poseidon MGTOW says you rule, Jessie.
Thank you, Poseidon.
And Kelvin Schubert also says hey.
Hi, Kelvin Schubert.
So Doctor Who and all that stuff in just a moment, folks. So we have our friend Gunnar Renee Oli. What's up? Haven't heard from you in a while, my friend. He says, Australians got to learn about them 3 seashells. Demolition Man, right? That's what that's from?
Yep.
Dude, I used to love that movie as a kid. That also had a toy line. It's kind of weird.
The movie did okay, but I don't think the toy line did well.
Yeah, but man, Taco Bell really benefited from all that.
Absolutely.
The great... We just need a Tom's sound effect board of all the different voices you do. Grimjoy says, slam that like button if you love redheads.
Shit, can I hit it twice? 3 times?
Sure. Spider-Man did. Anyway, Talbot Links says, Disney versus Marvel. Mickey and the Throg Ray Wars is better than Marvel Swill these days. Throg Wars is like Secret Wars in comparison across the times. I have never heard of Mickey and Throg Ray Wars. Have you guys?
Mm-mm.
I'll give it a quick look real quick because, I mean... Okay, so what's popping up is just old Mickey Mouse stuff.
Okay.
It's nothing's popping up. But a Disney Adventure magazine from July 1992 featured Wayne and Garth. So that's cool.
Excellent.
Fantastic movie. Yes, Gwen Stacy was a bad idea, Viper Chief. I'm going to check that out, Tablet Links. I'm going to take a screenshot of your super chat right now. And I like a good story. I got a little bit of time. I got to go somewhere this weekend. So there we go. Mark C says the mythology of He-Man is that he eventually, the He-Man of He-Man, the myth, I can't even read. Sorry. The mythology of He-Man is that eventually the sorcerer steps aside and Tila will become the new sorceress of Grayskull.
Yeah.
Like I said, Tom, you're the expert, Mark. So that's going to be your topic.
Yeah, like that's my understanding is, yeah. But she can't really leave Castle Grayskull either.
Mm-mm. I'm going with what you're saying. By the way, folks, we have 1,760 watching right now. Hit us with a thumbs up. If we hit that 1,000 thumbs up, I'm going to be out of town this weekend, but I can do a good morning pop culture, maybe Saturday morning a little later. So just let me know what's up. If you guys want to make that happen, hit that thumbs up button. I'll be checking the numbers all throughout the stream. And if we blow it out of proportion when I go back to Cincinnati next week, I'll give you guys a couple days in a row of good morning pop culture, but you gotta want it. So just let me know by hitting that thumbs up button. Crossbreeders Yours says, it's nice to see Clownfish TV on the High Council. I used to be the biggest fan of them, but I found out Neon wasn't black and he has a foot fetish. Congrats on 100K subs. Then how does anyone like Quentin Tarantino, Crossbreeders Yours? Drake is 6 says, yes, Kevin. Kevin's He-Man. He-Man for pork wallets. Ugh. Is that a Jeremy phrase, pork wallet?
I think so, yeah.
I don't even know what the fuck that means.
You don't?
That's what you're talking about. He-Man for vaginas? Okay. I don't know. When Jeremy talks, I close up. I don't listen.
I mean, I've heard it before, Jeremy, but yeah, that's what it means.
I haven't.
It means a vagina, yes.
I use very different phrases for that I won't say on air. Logan Michael, Anti-Funko Pop, says, Mezco is making a Leatherface figure. Thoughts? Well, Logan Michael, if it's based off of the first appearance of Leatherface in the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I think it could be cool. I hope they knock it out of the park with the accessories, and I hope that they give it the Conan treatment with a couple different faces, meaning the regular Leatherface mask, the one with the made-up mask, and maybe the dress to go over the suit. And, you got to have the smock apron. That's what we need. So it could be cool. I did the Michael Myers 1/12 collectible Mezco figure. It was great. I welcome all the horror ones. Dion has Jason. Mark C says, don't know about Kevin Smith, but at least in Joel Schumacher's case, he apologized. He did apologize. How do you guys feel about a director who makes something really bad, doesn't take pot shots at the fans, and then apologizes? Are you inclined to forgive them, or do you still look at that piece of media they made as egregious and offensive as you did prior to the apology?
Oh, no. I mean, if anything, I respect Schumacher even more, especially I did see that Corey Feldman thing, and he's not in that, so that's a good thing. So he wasn't one of the people named, but spoilers, folks, the people that were named were already people that everybody knew about. It wasn't kind of a big nothing burger in a lot of ways. I'm not saying that the subject doesn't need to be out there. The documentary covers a lot of ground, but it didn't really introduce anything new into the world that we didn't already know. So moving on from that, being that he apologized for it, will I watch Batman and Robin more? No, but it makes me respect him that he was able to take that and go, hey, it was my fault. I rushed into it. I followed the studio too much. They were pushing more for toys, and I went along with it. You know, you don't hear that out of a director very often. I mean, I don't know, Mecca, have you even watched Batman and Robin? I don't even know if you have.
Probably. I just don't remember it if I have.
I will say Batman Forever is not as bad as everyone says. It gets lumped in because Batman and Robin is dog shit, but Batman Forever has some really good moments and some pretty heavy story beats that other Batman films don't cover. So I respect Batman Forever quite a bit. Mark C says, ever wonder if Zach the Lego Maniac grew up to work construction as a bricklayer?
That's like an early 90s commercial. So
was that an old commercial?
Yeah, it's like an early 90s commercial.
My first Lego set was
they had a jingle. He was like just a kid named one of them was Zach, one of them was Jack, I think.
Well, they changed because they had there was another company kind of like Legos. They were called Zach's. So they ended up suing them because they came out with Jack the Lego Maniac or Zach the Lego Maniac at the same time. So then to settle it, Lego just changed him to Jack. It's really stupid.
I'm looking him up right now. This kid is so 90s, it hurts.
Yeah. He's totally radical.
Zach, he's the Lego Maniac.
See, Tom remembers it too.
Sadly, yes, I do.
Did you see that Mario is getting a Lego set? They announced it today.
Mario.
Oh, cool.
That'll make some serious money right there. I'm sorry, I'm just reading some of the chat right now. They're making me laugh. Dale, thank you very much, Dale. I had very little hope for the new He-Man the moment Kevin Smith was announced. The little talent he has is long gone decades ago. I'd be lying if I said some of his earlier stuff didn't speak to me, but I've lost a lot of interest, and it has nothing to do with the shilling. Movies just haven't done it for me in years. So,
I mean, I love Red State. Tusk is unique. Yoga Hosers is obviously made for his kid, and I'm not a teenage girl, so I know, it wasn't made for me, in the words of Brie. Other than that, I mean, I love Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. I mean, I'm not saying it's a 10 out of 10, but I felt like it was a loving love letter to Kevin Smith fans of old. It had a little fun with the whole reboot / woke culture. Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was all right. I know some people didn't like it and some people have, so it's been kind of mixed reviews, but it has broken some records, oddly enough.
Really?
It has the biggest per screen average of any movie in like tons of big theaters now, over like Endgame and Jaws and Star Wars and a bunch of other movies. Yeah.
Because it opened in so few?
Well, yeah, and then he goes around doing the road shows, so it like breaks all the records in the house. So yeah, it's really weird.
Let's see. Space Monkey 0899 says Kickstarter and Indiegogo will save comics. I agree. And if you backed us on Indiegogo, I have a big announcement, an update. So follow us on Twitter. I showed our new back cover. I got everything taken care of, had stuff relettered, redone, and waiting on a quote from a big place that prints books. And you'll have your new copies. Thank you guys for your patience. I'm not going to show the back cover. Never mind. It's on Twitter. Find it. Let's see. Amazing or sorry.
Are you talking about the one with the figures?
Yeah.
I like that.
Should I show it?
That's up to you.
Yeah, what the hell? I'll show it. Fuck it. I'll show the tweet real quick. It follows the theme of the cover. So
I think I hit the like on it in Facebook. But.
Well, thank you very much. I like how the fans have taken it and they've turned it into their own thing right now. Because somebody put Dion in a suit that he wore to Horror Hound. And because all the costumes of the figures are based on what they wear in the book. But somebody was like, hey, Dion wore this when I met him one time. Have him wear this. So there you go. I turned it into that. If you're a Star Wars collector, that definitely speaks to you. You know
like
that's about right there. So let's see. We also have our friend Amazing Source 88 says, this is why these companies should hire adults, not children, to do these types of jobs. I agree. Back in the day when you would hire a comic book guy, he'd be 40 before he started working in the field. It was an important job. Maybe it wasn't the highest paid. Maybe it was a better paid job than we realized. I don't know how inflation and stuff was back then. But people that are making all the creative stuff, they just don't care. You need grown-ups that care about this stuff and that can understand the business side of it to really keep these things viable. I feel like a lot of us could do that here on this council tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Probably.
So we'll read two more and then we're going to get to Doctor Who. Andy Metz says, glad to see Clownfish TV on the High Council. Well, Andy, it was awesome to have him here. Folks, if you missed them, they were here for the first hour. They let us know that they had to head out, so we had a great talk. So when this is over, go back, listen to the first hour in the morning. It'll be a lot of fun, and I can't wait to have him back on. Mark C., thank you very much again. He says, the only thing that keeps the publishing going is the mass ability to keep smaller licenses like Ragman and the Unknown Soldier alive. So, I don't know. I would, if I held a license to a big publisher, if I was a big publisher that held a really great IP, I would treat it like the crown jewel that it is and really make something of it. It bothers me to watch Spider-Man be fucked, but that's just me. Sorry, I'm an actual fan. Do you guys have anything you'd like to add about that, or to that? Excuse me.
No, not right now. That's fine.
All right, so I want you guys to talk about Doctor Who. So what's going on with the Doctor Who situation? I'm going to head out for just a second. I'll be right back. But Mecca, take it away. Tell the audience, Tom, I know you're up to date more than I am, about what's going on with the Doctor Who ratings and the decline of the franchise. Well,
actually, Mecca's probably more up to date on it than I am. What I will say, though, to it is we did release a video recently where we had a good reaction to an analogy that, or a little story, or however you want to put it, that Andre put in there that's similar to things we've been saying, but it was presented in a way that was, I don't know, much more consumable in the whole restaurant analogy. Maybe I should just bring it up and show it to you guys.
Yeah, consumer friendly.
Yeah.
But no, they basically, for Doctor Who, they just retconned the entire show out of existence. You know, we had a clear succession of here's the first Doctor, here's where the story starts. And now they're like, okay, well, not only has the series been tanking for the last 2 seasons because of all this woke diversity bullshit crap of anybody who has a problem with it just doesn't like women and all this garbage, because they went out of their way to gender swap the Doctor for no reason other than, you know, diversity and wokeness and all this bullshit. Every episode in the first, the season 11, the first one with this Doctor has pretty much been white man bad instead of, you know, hey, aliens and space travel throughout space and time. You know, it was always white man bad, the environment's bad, environmental issues, political bullshit, all this stuff that we don't want in Doctor Who. At least such heavy-handed. And now to add insult to injury, they just retcon the entire show out of existence, basically. They've taken it to where the first Doctor is no longer the origin. The Doctor is this miracle baby that is now able. It now came out to. I guess they took all of her DNA and spread it throughout all of the Gallifreyans so that now everybody can regenerate because of this one person, because that's the only person who could regenerate. And it just retcons the whole fucking show. And it sucks. So yeah, the ratings have been tanking. They're losing viewership. I mean, Antiques Roadshow beat it not too long ago. You know, the season finale, Antiques Roadshow. When Antiques Roadshow beats your season finale, you've got some problems. The viewership has been tanking and tanking and tanking. It hasn't been this low since the whole reboot with Christopher Eccleston in 2005, or was it 2005?
I can't remember. Honestly, I have not seen Doctor Who in probably 15 years or better. I mean, I've seen bits and pieces, but you know, I mean, I'm trying to remember the last time I ever seen like a whole set of episodes. It was probably a summer back in 1990.
Yeah. If Rob's back, maybe he can probably elaborate it if he's back.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I guess Jeff's back here. This is a bit from the recent video that I was talking about. It's not too long, I don't think.
You have to hit play.
Oh, I didn't know. I thought Jeff was going to say something, then he didn't.
Oh no, go ahead, go for it. You guys got the show.
It said, much like biting into a Big Mac, when you see a Marvel movie, you tend to know what you're going to get. The article then implied that audiences should have their expectations subverted, as the artist must be free to create an expression the audience needs. A friend of mine took issue with that, and his response was so on point and articulate that it bears repeating. My friend, here represented by Rob, had this to say.
Hollywood is a business, no different than a restaurant. It is there to serve and cater to the desires of the customers and in return be paid for the services provided. The equation is that simple. The people here who are entitled and out of touch are in Hollywood itself and the entertainment industry, who believe they are owed their customers money even if they create an inferior or unwanted product. One that is not wanted or ordered by the customer, but is given to them as if they feel this is what he needs and not what he wants. A good comparison might be walking into a restaurant in your area where the chef has just completed a new culinary arts class at his college and has hired a new staff of culinary graduates. You order your usual, a steak medium well done. Soon, the staff, which you don't recognize, bring you an exotic fish dinner. And they explain that the chef said the beef you wanted in gravy and the fully loaded baked potato covered in butter and sour cream is just not healthy, and the chef is committed to see you eat better. You argue that the name of the restaurant is Joe's Steakhouse, and you've been a customer for 20 plus years. They tell you that this is no longer your father's steakhouse, and they are now serving food that is good for you and is top-sided in the industry. You tell them again that you wanted a steak. The staff starts screaming at you that you are not a culinary expert, and by the way you have treated the staff, you're a racist, misogynist, and homophobic poor excuse for a human being. You and other patrons get up and refuse to pay for the food and walk away from the restaurant. This pattern happens over and over until the establishment is deep in financial trouble. What's amazing to you is the young hip people also seem to have no interest in this new idea they are doing either. The place sits empty and they blame customers for not coming in anymore. And they continue to say they are now geared up for a new demographic and that this is no longer your dad's steakhouse. They go on the news and say they have an excellent product, a top chef, and they are making the best food they ever made. But the customers are self-entitled and will not pay for their food because they are homophobic, racist, and misogynistic. No, the person here that is tone deaf and out of touch with their client base is the restaurant pushing food on customers they do not want to eat. They are the ones entitled and feeling they have no obligation to give the customer what they want, as they are now smarter and know what is better for them. You cannot do this and be successful in any business, and that includes the entertainment industry. This is the current situation plaguing Hollywood, and they are so out of touch that they can't see that they're the ones who are at fault and are taking their fan bases for granted and in an entitled way, assuming the fans are obligated to hand them their hard-earned cash for things that they do not want and did not ask for. This is why Birds of Prey failed and Sonic was successful. The studios actually stopped and listened to the fandom and made course corrections and created a product they wanted to purchase.
That's enough. Yeah, so if you want to see the rest of that video, check it out. We released it a couple days ago. So
that's on point, man. We've talked about the restaurant analogy before.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's I think it's what Hollywood needs to hear. Big time.
Definitely, and that takes
their own asses. Like, that's the thing. I always say their heart's in the right place, but their head's up their own ass. And now you got Brie Larson high on her own fart gas with this Nissan commercial. Like, oh, we need to pay attention to the universe because she has a sense of humor. Like, oh my God.
Yeah, they probably won't listen. You're right, but
No.
we can hope.
Yeah.
It'll only be funny to watch them fail from the sidelines. People say, "Oh, Hollywood fail." Well, right now Hollywood's not in the best of place with the this virus that's spreading and all the closures and these big massive things. Excuse me if I could speak. But we also have issues about diminishing returns. Before ClownFish TV left, we mentioned Marvel and how it felt like it was the natural conclusion. Endgame was the end. Star Wars is over for the foreseeable future. Oh, but guys, the High Republic, that's going to be the groundbreaking one. It's going to have diversity and non-gender binary. It's like, what the fuck is that? Why does that even matter? I want cool stories that I'm going to be hooked on. I don't care what these people look like, who they sleep with, what they do besides the heroic nature of events. That's all I care about. Did I care about Obi-Wan Kenobi making tea and taking a shit in the morning? No, I cared about the battle on Geonosis. I didn't care about everything in between that was inconsequential to the story. That's what a lot of these franchise holders think is important now. Oh, wouldn't it be funny if we watched... the only time it works is with Deadpool, when you can watch Deadpool make macaroni and cheese in his boxers, and it's funny. I don't care what these other people are doing on their off days, so... yeah, sorry. I was reading the chat. People were making me laugh again. But yeah, I mean, I get it. When people close their wallets to this stuff, they have no interest in it. They don't want to support these types of things. I mean, we don't call for boycotts in this channel, but you wouldn't be wrong if you did for your stuff.
It's your money, if we feel like a product isn't worth consuming, we'll tell you, hey, I wouldn't waste my money on this if you don't really want to support this product.
Yeah, it's that easy. And again, our merchandise analogy, there's a reason why this shit sat on shelves for years. It's not an exaggeration. I saw the same ACT or whatever it was called from Rogue One in the store for months and months and over a year. I filmed it. Go back and watch the video. It's the same one. Somebody took out the action figures, returned it to the store, and nobody bought it. The shit never moved. So
I believe it. Well, I saw the video, but no, I mean, I believe that happens everywhere with a lot of these Star Wars toys, because I would see pretty much the same stuff at GameStop, year after year when I would go in, and you see the same crap. There's a reason why stores like Toys R Us are going out of business, and it's not even just Star Wars. I mean, if you see all the Disney toys that get unsold, I was seeing the same Secret Life of Pets toys in the store for 4 years on end, and that movie was out years and years and years ago.
By the way, shout out to Jedi Bunny. She says, "You mean you didn't like watching Bilbo Baggins make himself toast?" Folks, I finally saw Lord of the Rings, all 3 of them. Feel free to ask me your questions about it, but I had a good time. We watched all the extended editions, right? Okay. We watched every extended edition of the film at our buddy Obi-Wan 27883. So big shout out to him. I'm sorry that I forgot to mention him. He put on an amazing spread for everybody, had us over, had food, made pizza, pulled pork, everything. The dude is the greatest host you could possibly imagine. Jedi Bunny was there. We had a great time with her, and we had a lot of fun. So yes, Jedi Bunny. Maybe I didn't like him watching him make toast, but I enjoyed them blowing up shit with fireworks. That was fun. Yeah. I like how people are like, choose your words carefully about this stuff. My favorite Lord of the Rings film was the first one, by the way. Yes, the other ones had more action and they were bigger scale, but the first one was my favorite. Maybe it was because I was the most awake for it. To be honest, I didn't fall asleep in Two Towers, and at the very end of Return of the King, I got tired. But I was very invested in, was it Fellowship, right? It's the first one. Fellowship was the one I liked the most. Yeah, 4 days later, that's what I posted on my Facebook.
So now I'm kind of partial to Two Towers, but yeah.
I feel like I'm part of the club now. It's like everyone's like, oh, we love this part of geek culture and that geek culture. And everyone's like, Lord of the Rings is fantastic. And I'm like, I haven't seen it. And now I've seen it and I liked it. Am I going to go out and buy Lord of the Rings merch? No. Am I going to watch it again this year? No. Next year? Probably. Maybe. You want to watch it next year again? Sure. Okay, next year it is. But until then, they get the thumbs up from me and I had a good time. Precious. So, Is there anything else you guys wanted to talk about Doctor Who? I had to go to the bathroom, so I missed out on some of your comments. How much of the toilet is it right now?
It's terrible. They retcon the entire series. Like, they just said F you to the entire legacy of Doctor Who. They literally retconned the whole thing. No more are, the handful of doctors that we had in sequential order. Now it's like, I don't know, we got diversity doctor number 367.
Yeah, it's definitely getting to be a hold my beer kind of thing. It seems like.
Yeah, they do this whole thing where they retcon it so that there's this miracle space baby who's floating around, who's the first one to ever regenerate. So then all the Time Lord DNA is infused with that baby's DNA, and the Doctor now has many regenerations. So important that they only exist as a flash, just to be exploited for about a split second because it's a game of Pokemon. You don't identify with this Doctor? Well, here's one. How about this one? How about that one? Do you look like this one? It's just a game of Pokemon. It's like a diversity cornucopia. It is bullshit. And now we don't know, like, what number of Doctor is your favorite? I don't know, maybe 375. I don't know yet.
So basically, all I say is David Tennant from now on. I can't say the 10th Doctor anymore. It's who's your favorite, Jeff? What's his number? I don't know. It's David Tennant. I don't know what number that is, but it's David Tennant.
He may have been the last Doctor I watched, for that matter. I don't know.
He was like the best one of the modern run.
I vaguely remember when Fox tried to do the American thing, and they had that TV movie.
Yeah, his name was Paul. I met that guy once. Paul, what's his fucking name? Yeah.
Yeah.
I met him at my first convention I ever worked. He was just a one-time Doctor.
Yeah, he just had the one. Well, he lived on more in the Big Finish audio dramas that they have too. So he has a lot. I think he's got the most of those, I want to say. So people really, really like him, and I saw him at a convention in the UK.
96 Paul McGann,
yeah. Yeah, I watched that as it aired.
I might have seen some Tom Baker, and I don't know. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, Tom Baker was like the most popular one, I think, of the original Doctors for the most part in general. And the problem is, though, you have people who have over 50 years invested in Doctor Who, and for not just to have the entire show retconned because it wasn't diverse enough, because you had a problem where it was just a whole bunch of white man after white man after white man. Oh, well, now it's not because it originated as a young black girl. But, okay, now you're just forcing Earth stereotypes to fill a diversity quota on an alien. So isn't that more racist to enforce it as a stereotype, to need it for representation in this alien when it could just be anything? And that's one of the problems that I see. It's kind of a side problem when they keep bringing back all of these different franchises that are either out of date or, there was a time when people didn't care about this crap. They just wanted something good and, story-wise, Doctor Who. I mean, he's an old guy who flies throughout the galaxy in a spaceship that looks like a police box, And it's also a time machine. And he fights bad guys, and it's an adventure. You don't need to reinvent it so much. You can add new Doctors, and that's how you keep it fresh. But you don't retcon the entire show out of existence.
Well, I think it comes from the fact, and this is important, that legacy matters. To try to pick the group of people that you've picked to change the legacy of your favorite franchises for is wrong. Like, sci-fi fans are the most dedicated in terms of like lineage and legacy. Like, well, this happened in this book, or this happened in that timeline, this happened here, and here. And there are people, you can throw these absurd, crazy timelines with all these different, like comic book fans are just like that too. I consider comic book and sci-fi fans in the same boat in regards to, like, I personally care about the legacy of Spider-Man. Like, to me, it's just as important to like talk about Crusher Hogan as it is Norman Osborn and all these other things. These seminal characters that build the character up, these big storylines. Like, I care, we retconned Spider-Man, so now these whatever hundreds of issues don't matter, or this or that. Even the bad stuff I want to still exist, like the Clone Saga. But all of this stuff, especially with Doctor Who, Star Trek, and more, they're just going back and wiping it out to make more. I don't think anyone ever thought, I wish they would go back and change the way Starfleet worked, or they would go back and take away food replicators or holodecks or this, that, and the other. They just don't do anything right by these franchises. And the thing is with these franchises that they're doing it to is they have a finite amount of time that they're in the mainstream. They're cyclical. Star Trek was huge in the early 90s. I remember everybody and their mom was into Star Trek. When you have the Next Generation on with the simulation of the Borg and all that shit, the Paramount theme parks were being sold massively on the fact that they would get Star Trek people to come in, movie accurate or TV show accurate costumes. They were still putting out movies in theaters, all kinds of stuff. Then it went kind of quiet. You still had your shows in the 90s, but then you had the Abrams stuff, and Star Trek was in the mainstream again, and then it went away, and now it's back again with this new shit, and then it'll go away again. But the problem is now is maybe people don't like Voyager, or people don't like Scott Bakula. Maybe that is Voyager, but the point, no, that's not Voyager. Enterprise, sorry. But the thing is, though, when it goes cyclical, you're like, well, I'm just going to wait out for the next one. The way geek culture works now is it pushes you out if you're not accepting of the new shit. So it's like, I don't like the new Star Wars. Or we'll use the example in the 90s. You didn't like episode 1. Okay, you still got the old ones, and you'll cycle through and then whatever, and you'll come back to the old ones. With the new shit, they took all your favorite characters, bent them over the barrel, had their way with them without consent, and then they come back, and it's like, well, I've seen Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia disrespected beyond belief. When it comes back around, I'm not going to be there this time. I've been pushed away, and that's everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, you have also this kind of subsection of the fandoms who identify as that fandom. They have no personality outside of that. It's the same type of people who have no personality outside of their gender identity or their orientation or any of that stuff. Like, that's all they have. So if you see them, they'll have their Twitter handles will just be all Star Trek or all Doctor Who or whatever. And they flip the crap out if you say, yeah, I didn't really like that. So they have to justify your dislike of something in a way that makes it so it doesn't...
As a personal attack.
Yeah. Yeah, they take it as a personal attack. So in their head, they're like, how can you not like this? This is my whole identity. This is all I am. And for you to not like this was for you to not like me. Oh, well, you're obviously just a racist, or you're obviously just a sexist.
Yeah, and it leads down an SJW mentality path. Yeah, basically.
Gymnastics.
And they don't stop to think of the other side of people who are just as invested but now feel betrayed. You know, what about that guy who got through, cancer because of Star Trek The Next Generation and Data, and now Picard's making him feel completely, betrayed? Or the kid who grew up with, Spock, and he's a scientist now because of it, and then he sees Discovery and he's just like, what the fuck did they do to him?
I like science. I like money. I like science.
All right, Frito.
That's what it is.
Start off baiting.
That movie is a documentary
clip because it's so ridiculous.
It is. It's sad.
And then Ethan Peck's got an I Like Science shirt, the actor who is playing new Spock. So hopefully he doesn't take it as like a personal thing. We don't mean anything personal to him, obviously. He seems like he's taking it with the right attitude. He even tried on a little Spock helmet. That has Spock written on the top and the big siren on the top.
Oh, the toy?
Yeah.
Interesting question posed in the chat. It's on screen right now. Somebody says that Quantum Leap is the greatest sci-fi series ever. Mecca, what do you think is the greatest sci-fi series? Tom, what do you think the greatest sci-fi series is? In the chat, obviously, tell us what you think.
Babylon 5 is the greatest sci-fi series. Probably followed by Stargate SG-1. And Quantum Leap was okay. It was okay.
I like Quantum Leap quite a bit.
I don't have anything against it. I just didn't get into it.
Yep, that one.
That's the one.
Oh, man. That's a tough question. Probably Next Gen. TNG.
TNG is the greatest sci-fi series, you think?
What'd you say?
Tom thinks that
well, unless you wouldn't consider that science fiction.
Yeah, I mean, I love TNG, don't get me wrong, but I think like the Battlestar Galactica reboot and Babylon 5 personally got science fiction a little bit better, but
I never really got into those though.
Yeah,
and Babylon 5 to me is the shit that was in the 80s, so
Red Dwarf is good too. I love
Yeah,
Red
Red Dwarf's all right. I'm always partial to like the BBC Hitchhiker's Guide too, for that matter. But do you consider that comedy or do you consider that sci-fi?
Exactly. Yeah,
I'll
but
go
that
with
one-
Twilight Zone. That's my answer about everything.
That's another great answer too. You know, it's a tough question. There's so much, and that's the thing. Sci-fi works so well, especially on TV in like a space setting or like a Twilight Zone type setting. You know, something where you can really explore both stories and space or the unknown, kind of things, and ghost stories and whatnot. I don't know. It's really tough.
Choice
Yeah,
too.
so you got X-File. Yeah, see, and I'm not even that big a fan of that, but I would still, it was the impact that had, I mean, overall, I mean, TOS probably had the most impact of any sci-fi show in history. But in my personal favorite, I don't know. For now, I guess I'll just say Next Gen, but it could change tomorrow. I mean, I could think of something by the end of this show and be like, oh no, wait, I mean, I guess do you consider Ninja Turtles sci-fi? I mean, that's a good question. I don't know.
I'm also very partial to the Outer Limits. Partial to see, a lot of the sci-fi that I enjoy came out in an earlier age when you had to use allegory for social change. Like the thing is, people say, "Well, this has always been about this." Yeah, but the delivery system, which is the most important part of any message, was so much more well crafted, or so much better crafted. Excuse me. Today, that subtlety is lost, so that's why I always jump for original real Twilight Zone, not Jordan Peele garbage. And the 80s stuff is okay. It has a really great episode where they play cards with the devil. Have you seen that one with Garrett Morris?
Not the new one.
Oh. Ooh, Firefly's another good choice. I really liked Firefly a lot.
No, I refuse to watch the new Twilight Zone, if that's what you're talking about.
Well, I have a copy that Captain Jack Sparrow gave me, so if you'd like to watch it without giving away anything, you let me know. I'll hook you up.
I mean, I've got the original Blu-ray series.
No, I meant the new stuff. If you wanted to...
No, I know, but I'm just saying. I mean, I love the classics, but
I don't want my brain with the new Twilight Zone.
Well, of course, you're going to say Knight Rider, Kara Companion. You're the expert of that fucking show. I don't think anyone knows that show better than you do.
Knight Rider.
That song is so cool. The Fixer has a really excellent point. When culture fails, politics become culture.
Well, to what you were just talking about, the difference is shows like Star Trek and Twilight Zone and all these other sci-fi shows that would do social commentary, they wouldn't shove a political agenda behind it. They would generally either A, leave it open-ended, or you would kind of come to your own conclusion if you rewatch the show thinking, that the show's telling you a message, and then you rewatch it knowing that, and you may be surprised to realize how open-ended it probably was. You just made your own decision by the end of that show. I mean, I think a lot of people, I felt like that with the Orville, because there were someone were like, oh, that's just as woke as the other shit. It's like, no, look at About a Girl, or whatever the name of that one episode was.
That's not exactly woke.
No, it was very open-ended. It was kind of it had a lot of questions left open at the end of that show, and it could make you think one way or the other, but it didn't necessarily tell you how to think. That's the thing. That's the difference. These new shows are trying to tell you how to think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thinking is just the important part. Which direction should be left up to you. But Duck Dodgers. Yeah, I'm just laughing at some of the responses. Some of the responses are excellent.
In the 25th century.
No, but to jump on the Fixer's point, though, we're at a point in right now, 2020, where the identity of your political affiliation and this, that, and the other definitely outweigh who you are as a person type of thing. I'm just speaking strictly online, and it's getting very, very annoying and tiresome. And good sci-fi should be able to make a comment about all of this and not pick a side. I think right now would be the best time to write a story about like present culture, maybe like a Philip K. Dick or even what's his name, Richard Matheson. Like 2020 is a very interesting time to exist in. In many ways, it's the kind of worst future that they write about, and it's also the utopian future that they write about. So some of these writers really hit it on the head, and other people missed it. So there was actually a post on Twitter the other day. They were talking about a book that predicted the current virus situation, and it was just weird how some of these people are prophetic. Dick Tracy is not sci-fi, but Dick Tracy's excellent. Okay, so let's see where we're at. Our friend Some Nobody says, "What's up from the Nerdrotic stream?" Again, I got to thank Gary for sending everybody over. Huge turnout tonight. Folks, if you're here, remember the High Council rides every Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This week we're on World Class Bullshitters. Most weeks we are, but next week I'm going to be out of town. So Mecca is going to take hosting duty. She'll be joined by Tom, and it's going to be an awesome show. So make sure you are subscribed to all of this stuff, or all of our channels, excuse me, so you don't miss out on anything. And, we give you tons of content that these other places don't have the nerve or the propensity to give you. So thank you, folks. Let's see. And thank you, Gary. Appreciate that.
Well, I'll make Tom find some people.
I was going to say, I'm sure I can scrape up some guests.
They're always good guests, man.
Well, yeah, the last time we had it, was it the last time or the time before?
Well, everybody came out last time just because I said, Jeff's dealing with some shit. It was more like everybody was there because they knew Jeff wasn't going to be because he was dealing with some stuff. So it was kind of more of a
and Tom hooked that up. So we had
tribute to
Gary,
Jeff,
Doomcock, we had Yellow Flash, Anna, we had everybody pretty much.
Jeremy, I think, even showed up at one point.
Yeah, Jeremy was on. We've had everybody. So. You gotta remember how to use StreamYards.
They just wanted to show their support and love for Jeff, of course.
Well, it was awesome. I'll admit I haven't watched that because it was the week my grandma died, so I was just like, I'm checked out. I'm not doing any of this shit right now. I need to take care of that. And but yeah, I didn't realize it went down that much. So I'm gonna have to thank everybody personally for that one because we are a really good community. Everyone seems to get along. Everyone actually does get along in the Fandom Menace. And thank you. That's all I can say.
What's the point in having feuds? I mean, it's like what sense does it make to sit around just, obsessing over what other people's videos are doing? Just make your own damn video and get over it. If more people watch my video than somebody else's, great. If more people watch other people's videos, fine. I'm not going to go and make a hate video on somebody because they got more views than me.
Oh, hell no. I'm happy everyone's doing so well. Good for them,
Exactly.
There's enough to go around.
Exactly, and like the more you're in the community with people, I mean, we all have the same viewers anyway. So,
yeah, I gotta say, our biggest enemy is probably the platform that we're on right now because they find ways to try to nerf everybody. If there was no, holding us back type of thing, we'd all be, well into the six figures and stuff like that because it's Fandom Menace is that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. The Fixer, we read his. Some Nobody, we read his. Zarkon D. Grissom says Nissan swapped out the Taco Bell Chihuahua for Brie Larson.
I know, right? Because he used to say, "Drop the chalupa."
Drop the Taco Bell. Nom nom, so good. LOL.
Taco Bell should so sue.
Taco Bell has breakfast that's better than it has the right to be for being Taco Bell.
They tried that for so many years. They must have finally figured out because when I used to work with them, they tried twice. They test marketed that shit. And the only places it caught on was down south, I guess. But
I mean, not to get into a whole fast food talk, we can if the chat wants, but like their breakfast crunch wrap thing, surprisingly good.
Oh, that looks good though. See, now Wendy's just started serving breakfast.
My buddy called me because we're going to WrestleMania next month, and he goes, "Dude, we have to try Wendy's breakfast on the road trip down." I said, "Fine, I'll give in." He twisted my arm hard enough.
Well, they have like the Baconator breakfast sandwich version now.
Only in America can we get excited over, a sandwich that'll stop your heart.
I know, right?
It's like, honestly, I'm not trying to be like.
I was bitching coming out of the fucking grocery store earlier because my car's out of commission right now, so my mom had to give me a ride like a damn taxi, and I come out griping. I'm like, they got pizza rolls that are pepperoni and bacon. She's like, yeah. No, I'm like, together. It's like they're making it so hard for me not to have a heart attack and lose weight, and oh my God, it's like this is just so difficult in life. Everything's fast food or bacon on it.
Yeah, and I'm in Colorado where weed's legal, so imagine how hard it is for me.
I just would rather just do that until I pass out. Then I wouldn't have to worry about eating.
Right.
I'll just wake up and eat cereal. At least
you're lying to yourself. Like you're not going to be able to eat when you're high. Come on.
Oh no, I'd probably get maybe once in a while.
I don't know. But yeah, the Wendy's breakfast. Yeah, 800 calories for a breakfast sandwich.
I was always one of those that I was good about eating beforehand.
Oh. Well, I don't have the time or money for that stuff. I'd probably be dead if I got into that 24/7. The videos would get really dumb. Like, if you think Kevin Smith made shit movies, imagine me making stoned videos. You would not like it.
Hey, this is world class bullshit. What the fuck was that?
I would go live and I would talk about that episode of Futurama where they licked the toad or whatever. No, that's Family Got it. They licked the toad.
Sitting there for like 30 minutes. Did you guys hear that noise? I heard that noise. Yeah, you in the chat. Did you hear
guys,
that noise?
they have a car that runs on water. The government won't have it.
Shit,
But the government won't let it happen.
The one time I got Rob baked, he's like, I forgot how to read. Like, oh no, you're not that baked. He had a half an edible, and he's like, he forgot how to read. He's a lightweight though.
Let's see. So anyway, Zarkon D. Grissom said, "Oh, is that Admiral Gender Study still at the GameStop? LOL. Congrats, Clownfish TV, for 100K subs." Zarkon, you laugh. When we brought her up earlier, I'm going home next week. The first thing I'm going to do after getting a haircut is I'm going to go out and look for the Red Hulk action figure. And when I do, I'm going to go to GameStop to see if they have Vice Admiral Gender Studies on the shelves, because it's been the same exact figure for however long, a year in June. So yes, she'll still be there because that shit doesn't sell. By the way, I meant to read this one from Dale. Excuse me, Dale. We read Zarkon's first. They were back. Dale says, "Are we going to ignore the fact that Star Wars, Star Trek, Doctor Who, DC Comics, Marvel Comics, Terminator have all been destroyed by left-wingers? That's not an accident." It's not, Dale, and we definitely have been aware of that. It's almost blatantly obvious that I don't bring up the agenda of these people because I don't want to come off as like an InfoWars type of crazy guy, but every one of those is that kind of not infiltration, excuse me. That agenda, that left-leaning agenda stuff is definitely what has infected all the geek culture stuff and turned off a lot of people. Because you got to remember, it's 50-50 in the country. You're going to make half the people be excited, half the people are going to get turned off. And you might turn off a bigger portion of the audience than you realize by going that route.
Well, there's even the portion like that isn't even like, say, a Trump supporter necessarily, where they just get sick and tired of it. You know, I mean, it just, Mecca's one of those, I know for sure. And so I'm get the same way too, to the point where it's like, you just keep it to yourself. You don't have to go up on stage in front of 500 people and declare your hatred for somebody. Just like I don't necessarily want to hear, somebody go off on their love for somebody for an hour either.
I didn't ask you.
Exactly. I'm here to listen to you talk about Star Trek or Star Wars or this or that or the other. I don't give a fuck what you think about Bernie or what you think about Trump or what you think about Biden. It's not important to me. What's important to me right now is what you think about phasers and Worfs. I miss my Worf.
Wait, is Worf dead now?
No, it's a joke for Mead.
Oh.
Yeah. But every once in a while, old Picardo misses Worf.
He'll be the next one.
I miss my Worf.
I wouldn't put it past them.
I had one.
Oh, sorry, I was just gonna say it looks like we hit that 1,000 thumbs up. So
awesome.
Yeah, we'll do that. I'll do a Good Morning Pop Culture. I'm gonna still be on the Pacific time zone. So what time do you have to be up on Saturday? Like 7:45. You have to be there. Stupid early. All right, so maybe like 10 o'clock, 10:30. Maybe 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, but I'll give you guys the same full show. So before you guys go out to, your kids' baseball games, or, you're going to peruse your local comic book shop, check us out on Good Morning Pop Culture. Last time we talked about the Back to the Future remake, and the show went on for 3 hours. So anything you guys want to talk about, that is the time to come to me. Good Morning Pop Culture. That's our morning show here in the Fandom Menace. So Dale, we did talk about yours. We talked about Zarkon's. Benito Martinez, thank you very much. Better for them to say, I disagree and here is why, than for them to talk shit and not be able to defend their ideas. Yeah, I would much, like you just said a minute ago, Tom, about not wanting to hear people's political views or how much they love something or X, Y, and Z. If there was a much more civil discourse to be had around this stuff, and it was just like, hey, I believe in this X, Y, and Z, that'd be fine instead of, hearing, oh, you're this and that because you don't think how I
not just replace politics with religion. Who wants to sit there and go to a Star Trek convention and listen to somebody talk about, their religion for an hour? It's the same thing, unless your religion is Star Trek, I don't want to hear it.
Exactly. Well, we went through that with Wilson Cruz getting up on stage You know, it's fine to take the moment of silence for a shooting that had happened over that weekend. But then he goes in and says, "Oh, and we need to be aware of this gun control bill and this and that." And somebody had tagged him into something on Twitter, and he was like, you know, he was like trying to talk to me through a block wall. And he's like, "Oh, no, I actually didn't say that." But, you know, it's like, actually, he did. He just might not remember it.
I
And he's
love
like
how
telling me,
everybody
"Oh,
says,
you
no,
can
no,
go
I
F
didn't say
yourself."
this. But it's like, bitch, I got the fucking recording. I was
Oh, yeah, he
there.
was even saying, "Oh, yeah, you can go fuck." So Wilson Cruz said I can go fuck myself. So
Oh, and Jason Isaacs had it out with you too because but that was a different situation. That was because of the show, because he said they had no fucking clue how they going to end the season. That's like almost an exact quote. And
Yeah.
he's like, "I did not say that," and she's like, "I got the tape."
Yeah, same thing with Wilson Cruz. Well, I have the audio recording, so here you go.
So nobody says Sentai and Funimation pulling censoring a lot of stuff. I've been hearing about that. There's a specific one I don't know the name of, but I've been seeing like a side-by-side image. It's like in a school or a high school or some shit like that. I don't know exactly what it is. Where they're like cutting out frames to censor, I don't know, someone in a swimsuit or some shit. I wasn't going to buy it. I'm not interested. But when it comes to anime and manga that I do read and do watch, yeah, I don't want it censored. You know, Lupin the Third, I don't want that cut. If I'm going to watch Dragon Ball Z, you have to jump through hoops to find uncensored shit in the right aspect ratio, with the right soundtrack, with the right voice actors. It's really hard to consume that kind of stuff. So I do sympathize with all you guys out there. If you're into your favorite anime shows getting translated into English and they're censoring it and you have to watch it dub, or maybe you're one of the dub people and they're still censoring your shit, I get it. I'm with you on the censoring of the content, because you want to watch import shit. So cultural norms are different across the world. So I can understand where you're coming from there. Censorship is dumb, especially, dude, the worst one that pisses me off is the video game censorship. I can't stand that type of shit. Like, it's a fucking game.
Mm-hmm.
No one's hurt. Just let it go.
It's pixels. You know, groping a girl's boobs in a pixel game isn't groping a real girl.
I have killed 5,000 prostitutes in Grand Theft Auto.
Right?
How many have I killed in real life? 0. I've never even hit somebody in the fucking face.
Exactly.
I'm not a violent dude.
That you know of.
That I know of, yeah. But the thing is, like, when it comes to games can be a power fantasy. They can be anything you want them to be.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, yeah. No, I agree completely.
You know, I'm not getting off on playing Tetris. I'm just using it and having fun and killing some time. But when I play GTA, I'm the vilest motherfucker you'll ever meet. I turn on flaming bullets, exploding punches. I will, you know, throw you into a swimming pool and hit you with an RPG. I will drive my car into a crowd of people. It's Grand Theft Auto. It's fake. It's fun. It's not real. So I don't, you know, like if they're to say, oh, you can't do that in the next one because we're worried about X, Y, and Z. It's Rockstar Games.
It's pixels.
Oh, I hate self-regulation, and you know that's the thing is it's like, you know, yeah, should a kid be playing GTA? Well, I guess that's up to their parents, huh? That's the biggest problem, is they expect the world to put a band-aid around it for their kids. It's like, I got a kid who's 18. I didn't expect the world to babysit my kid. I knew what he was doing or playing or watching. You know, it was my responsibility, not the world's, not, you know, theirs to make sure it's censored and, you know, laundered to, you know, fit family values or anything like that. It's, if I wanted to make sure he was watching shit he should be watching, that was my responsibility, just as much as making sure he wasn't watching porn or something like he shouldn't be.
Well, also, Tom, too, it comes into family sensibilities. What is the general acceptance of family sensibilities? Where do we draw the line? Like, some families may be into this stuff. There may be accepting of that stuff. It really depends. I mean, you do have, like, even something as, I'm going to call Star Wars safe. The first movie is a very, it really appeals to everybody. I don't think there's anything in it that, like, unless you're going to read into it with a hard, you know, stance about, I don't know, something crazy. But it's a pretty generally accepted movie that kids and adults can all get into. But you know, even with the Disney stuff, the Onward stuff, which again, if you put it in there, cool, just don't take it out international releases. You know, who nowadays family entertainment is such a broad yet narrow definition that no company can accurately pinpoint it if they're going to try to touch on topics. That's why I don't think necessarily a kids movie is the place for X, Y, and Z. maybe young adult sci-fi or stuff like that. There's always been genres for that, but it doesn't really fit in every, genre out there.
Yeah, and you and I agree with that, and that's the problem is you'll get 100 people that'll come after you and call us some kind of isterphobe because we feel that way. I've had crazy arguments over Bert and fucking Ernie being gay. And it's crazy that people think that it's okay that should be pushed one way or the other on the show. But I'm like, no, the farthest something like Sesame Street should take that kind of a subject is so-and-so has 2 dads or so-and-so has 2 mommies. That's it. That is it. And honestly, as the gay community, in fact, I know some gay people who felt this way, that they never should have even brought it up again because it was a problem they had dealt with for years and years and years, that the stigma that just because Bert and Ernie live together, that they're gay. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's okay if you think they're gay. No, it's not okay to think they're gay. Because if anything, that just adds to the stereotype. And that's what they've said. It's not. It's okay. It's okay to think that they're guys and can live together and not be gay. It's more important for the stereotype than the other way around. They're just enforcing it, is what I'm trying to say. Sorry, I didn't mean to go off on a tangent there, but that's the thing. And why should that even be in a kid's show? It shouldn't be. There's no reason for it to be there. Now, is that saying to deny that exists? No, that's where I said it's okay. You have a character that has 2 moms or has 2 dads. That's all you need to explain that to a kid at that age. You don't need to get into the entirety of it all.
Keep it age appropriate. You don't need to see rim jobs and reach arounds on Sesame
They don't
Street.
get into how babies are made, so I don't need, you don't need to get into the other stuff too. It doesn't belong in a Pixar movie just the same.
Did you have mommy and daddy porking on the living room couch? No, you don't have that.
No.
Keep it age appropriate, people.
Let's see. Our friend TLJ Screwjob says 1 of 2. So I'm going to read these both. TLJ Screwjob. Frank Hernandez, we'll get to you in a second, my friend. Neon always says you didn't have to do that, and he's right. They didn't need to destroy Doctor Who, Star Wars, and everything else. Hey kids, do you like Luke Skywalker? Well, here he is trying to murder his nephew in his sleep.
Yeah.
I will never get over that because that's the dumbest. Is it the dumbest moment for Luke Skywalker? Like I tried to murder my nephew, and now he's broken and destroying the galaxy.
Kind of.
Between that and the titty milk.
Yeah, the tit milk.
Well, that's just like hitting a new low.
Yeah. I don't know why they did it, though. I felt it with Han Solo. The fact that he was a deadbeat dad and the fact that he lost the Millennium Falcon. How? That bothered me almost more than the fact that he ran off on his family. I know that's a very shallow thing, but he loved that ship, okay?
He keeps the dice for years and years and years that were up his ex's ass for all we know. And he loses the ship.
It's just little bitty character traits that they threw out to sell a toy or to get you to cheer at a theater. I know it's a joke. I'm not a committee, but Disney Star Wars is very much filmmaking by committee, and none of the committee saw the original trilogy. Same thing with the people that make Star Trek and Doctor Who. They don't watch the shit. They just have very good jobs.
Yeah.
So
pretty much.
Frank Hernandez, thank you very much. Sending prayers to y'all in the USA from Manila for pop culture to get unwoke soon. Much love to Jeff, Clownfish, Tom, and Mecca. Hashtag the fandom menace.
Hail.
Thank you, Frank. Thank you, Frank. Hail to you too. To Manila. I have a friend from Manila, so obviously she lives in America now, but there we go. Zarkon D. Grissom says, smash the patriarchy, except the CEO of CBS and AMD. Yeah. Sherry Redstone and Lisa Sue prove the patriarchy is a myth. Yeah, when I first heard about the patriarchy, Zarkon, in, I guess it was 2013, maybe late 2012, at a college course in the University of Cincinnati, I was like, what is this? And then this woman went on to talk about the male gaze and all of this bullshit that I didn't know about until she came into the picture, and I fought her tooth and nail on everything. And she would always lower my grades because I didn't believe in her ideology. I wish I was in the class now with the way culture is and the ammunition I have, because I would, college always encourages discussion between the teacher and the student. And I had a lot of shit to say to that woman. Then again, I also had another teacher who is what we would call an SJW, and I'm using quotations here. And her and I would argue back and forth, and she loved me. And we always, had a fun time in class. So the patriarchy, I guess it's a myth. I don't know what the fuck it actually is.
There's there's been far more women taking shots at men. I mean, look at shows like Roseanne. Look at shows like Home Improvement. It was always these kind of bitchy, emasculating women taking shots at their men. And it's become the norm. Even on the Cosby Show back in the day, he was kind of portrayed to be an idiot. That's been a thing for many
Homer
years.
Simpson.
So
Yeah.
I would say that
Queens.
the patriarchy is more toxic than anything because they're the ones out there with us pushing this propaganda.
It was always accepted, and I've never seen men's groups go on it against the idiot husband trope. Yeah, it's every major sitcom of the last, 40 years or so. It's the idiot husband. Even Archie Bunker was stupid in ways, and he also had a lot of other shit to say. That's a topic for another time. Yeah. But all of them, Homer, Peter, only Hank Hill didn't fall into the category of the idiot husband, because King of the Hill...
No, but he was still the butt of the joke sometimes.
Yeah, I agree, but I also think in the long run, if we're doing a point-based system, I think Hank actually comes out to be the most stable voice of the series. And you kind of look at all the shit Bobby wanted to do and all the stupid stuff that was going on in society, and he was kind of like the constant norm. And sometimes the norm, the stability isn't cool. People want to shit on it. But at the end of the day, the dependability outweighs the flash and pizzazz. And I think Hank Hill really was the foundation of that show. And that's why I think King of the Hill really has will have a much longer lifespan than a lot of these shows. Like once Family Guy goes off the air, it's funny to make a joke about this politician from 2010, but it's 2020. I don't remember everybody that they talk about. I may have known it 10 years ago. The same thing with, some of the American Dad stuff. All the Seth MacFarlane animated shows are very of their time. Early Simpsons of its time, but also very timeless plots and elements. King of the Hill, I feel, is the very same way. Yeah, you may mention George W. Bush and meet him in an episode, but also you talk about certain types of politics that are still relevant today. So,
well, even getting into politics, you brought up a good example, Archie Bunker. The thing, I don't think white men have ever really cared about being the butt of a joke or being made fun of. We never have. But this is the first time ever where it's not okay for us to make fun of anybody but white men. Mm-hmm. That's what it's about. And, because they'll try and say that, the privileged will try and feel like it's they're losing something or whatever when you hear equality or something like that. And that's not really the case or something like that. It's like, yeah, normally that would be a true factor here. But no, you're singling out one demographic in this entire movement and pointing the finger at them when we've never been like above everybody, at least in a sense that you've been able to make fun of of men before. There's been bad men and everything. Men are always bad. It's like the bad guy's always a bad guy for a reason. It's called the bad guy. 9 times out of 10, or if not more than that, it's a guy. Come on. Archie Bunker is a perfect example, because even though he was always wrong and he would come off like a racist and a bigot, at his heart, Archie never really was those things that he appeared to be. And that's what every episode would generally prove to him, even if it was in spite of himself. And that's what made him lovable, like Cartman, because even Cartman's gone to extremes that Archie Bunker never would. And because he's a cartoon character, we let him get away with it. But at the same time, we love sitting here and listen to him gripe and piss and moan about everybody and everything, because sometimes he says the shit that we feel, but are just too afraid to say out loud. And that's kind of the way this thing works. It's a release. It's a character that we get to either hate or love to hate, or do secretly love and love to see them, learn a lesson. And that was kind of the same thing all the time with Archie. Was almost every show was Archie learning a lesson, in some way, shape, or form, about how he was being, short-sighted, or he was actually acting like a racist or a bigot, and then he would see the fault of his ways, basically.
Yeah, and people mentioned Family Ties and Growing Pains. Growing Pains was a really weird show, but Family Ties was the dynamic of Family Ties was liberal parents, conservative Alex P. Keaton, and even then, the dad did fall. Stephen did fall to some of the "I'm an idiot, my kids outsmarted me" thing. It's not as regular as a Homer or whatever. But then again, Homer's also played up for the last part of it. But I mean, your George Lopez, your Kevin James show, King of Queens, all that kind of stuff, Doug Heffernan, that was much more of an egregious take on it. And like you said, though, Tom, no one ever complained about those things. It was just a trope and an entertainment. And now, because society, we don't really have much to do anymore. We always look at our entertainment, we try to pick apart, oh, that's not appropriate anymore. And that's a series I'm working on behind the scenes, like movies and shows that aren't appropriate anymore, and how sad it is. It's not about, it's good that we're changing societal norms. Sometimes entertainment does have damaging things. We're not looking for Birth of a Nation or Songs of the South, but we're also looking at stuff like The Jeffersons and All in the Family as shows that had stuff to say, or a Roseanne, or Married with Children. Those shows, they wouldn't fly with modern sensibilities, but Married with Children has some really funny shit that it's sad that jokes and comedy can't really rebound anymore unless you're a Dave Chappelle and you have a huge name. So,
oh yeah,
Boy Meets World dad wasn't an idiot, but yeah, Boy Meets World was a kid's show. I never considered that like a real sitcom. Let's see. We got more of these stupid bots in the chat. Thanks, Mecca, for getting rid of them.
Yeah, I've tagged a few too.
Yeah, I've been trying to get them.
But no, yeah, they said Homer started off as a lovable goofball to, well, I'm not going to say that word now, but no, I think it was more so he started as an angry dad and then just turned into a complete moron over time. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty much, and the same thing with Family Guy. Like, he wasn't always a stupid in the beginning too. It's so much easier to write the characters to be stupid than to deal with,
No, because Homer wasn't really
SJWs,
stupid. Yeah, he didn't get stupid until like the 4th or 5th season, at least, if not later.
I think so. Yeah.
By the way, MR Pandora Heart Doc DR, shout out to you. You're the listener of the night for mentioning one of my favorite shows, Keeping Up Appearances. Fantastic show. Richard Bucket, love him. His wife Hyacinth, crazy. Richard has the patience of a saint. So if you know what that show is, press 1 in the chat.
It's a bouquet. It's pronounced bouquet.
You've seen it then. There we
God. Go. She's so full of shit. I love her though, but it's very much one of these lovable shows. Oh, and her whole family's kind of like just trashy. And she's trying to be like all prim and proper, and it's like, no, you're not, sweet. That's a good show, though.
Yeah, what other UK shows do you like, Mecca?
Oh, pretty much any of them. Blackadder, Red Dwarf, Father Ted, I loved. Men Behaving Badly, I loved. Black Books was good. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy was good. There's so many. Faulty Towers, Monty Python, of course.
Now you make me want to go watch Hitchhiker's Guide again. Yesterday was the 42nd anniversary.
It was a few days ago. Yeah.
Was it a few days ago? Dang it, I missed it.
Yeah, The In-Betweeners is good. I'm just looking at my shelf behind me. I've got more British shows than probably anything.
And I mean, to some people who may argue again that a lot of those shows we just mentioned do have a lot of woke stuff behind them, because All in the Family does have kind of a woke kind of mentality to it. But there's a little bit difference between saying racism is wrong, sexism is wrong, instead of white man bad. There's a big difference there.
That is sexism and racism.
That's my point. Yeah, there's a big switch and a change there to where, Star Trek, yeah, you had those characters that were half black and half white, and it was right on the nose as to what it was about. But come on, I think we all can agree that racism's a bad thing, folks. Prejudging people's a bad thing. Generalizing people's a bad thing. It's just like, come on.
Yeah. And the sad part is the people that are championing this change and all this social progressiveness are the people that are actually bringing it back to a point where it was really bad for a lot of people.
Because they're fascists now.
Well, Tom, you brought up the Bert and Ernie thing. When I made the video the other day on Onward about how they, the gay cop, I had a lot of people in the chat say, hey, I'm gay and I don't like this attention being brought to me because it makes me uncomfortable, puts me on a platform. It makes me, I think at the end of the day, everybody of every orientation, whatever gender you are, all this other crap, you just want to be treated like a normal person. And I don't think anybody wants to have a spotlight put on them. And these companies, these movements, they put a spotlight on people and they make them feel really fucking weird. And, that's just not, I don't think that helps at all.
Well, here's a good one. One of our favorite movies, Jeff, Beverly Hills Cop. There's only like one scene, maybe two in the entire movie that really have anything to do with his race.
And he brings up himself. Because I can tell you the scenes. How can a black man, dressed like myself, walk into the bonded area? That kind of shit.
Yeah, and the I was gonna do a story with Michael Jackson sitting on the top of the world.
I'm not gonna say that right now. Michael Jackson can sit on top of the world just as long as it's not the Beverly Palm Hotel, and then I'm done.
Yeah.
You believe me, it's gonna get flagged if I say. Actually, that's one of the words I don't use ever. So there we go.
No, but it's a great point as to why
That's
that
hilarious.
movie didn't rely on the fact that Eddie Murphy was black. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a great, fantastic scene. Eddie Murphy movies. Eddie Murphy was one of the biggest stars of the decade because he was funny and qualified. It wasn't because he was black. It's never about being a black. Eddie Murphy movies weren't black movies. It wasn't a blaxploitation flick. It was just a big blockbuster film starring Eddie Murphy. There's only one color that truly matters in Hollywood, and it's green.
Well, even John Landis brings up that at that time, Coming to America had the most black leading actors and crew and actors in it than any other major Hollywood movie to that point, but nobody ever refers to it as a black movie.
No, it's not. Crap, I think you're messing up the internet.
Because, you know, any other time a cast like that, all that kind of stuff, it would be considered like a blaxploitation movie or something like that, you know, in the vein of like Shaft and all that kind of stuff. But no, nobody ever comes up and goes, oh, that's my favorite black movie or my favorite black-led movie. Nobody ever says that about that movie. Why? Because it's a great story. And even though there's part of that movie that kind of relies on race since he comes from Africa, that's about it. Once he gets to America, the fact that he's from Africa has very little to do with his character. They make fun of him a little bit for being from another country, but
we didn't look at movies as like, oh, that's a white movie or a black movie.
Exactly.
It was just a movie for people. And people could just go see it, no matter what color of skin you were. You didn't have to be like, oh, only women can see this, or only people of this color can see that. You know, this is for you.
Yeah.
This is your movie for your representation.
And my point is if Eddie Murphy and those guys would have went into making that movie going, oh, it has to be a big deal that we have more black people in the leading roles in this movie than any other movie in, you know, major film history. We've got to make a big deal out of this. Do you think the movie would have been as good?
No.
Hell no. Those movies are organically funny. People play off of people. The joke. I think some of my favorite shit is the when he interacts with the dudes in the barbershop, because of the difference between like, who does your hair? What kind of chemicals is this? Not chemicals. This is natural juices. You got good, like the cultural differences between African American and African is hilarious to me. It's not about, you know, black versus white and Coming to America. And the funny thing is, like, I don't see a lot of like black groups, NAACP, anything like that, talking about how the underrepresentation. I'm seeing a lot of like woke idiots online talking about the underrepresentation. Like if somebody online on Twitter went, you know, we don't have any movies with all majority black cast X, Y, and Z. And I could give you a list of all these great movies that have a majority black cast that's not, you know, defined by the color of the actors. But they're going to say, well, the director was white, so it doesn't count. And
that's my point. Yeah.
Well, it's always white people on Twitter complaining too.
Yeah. A lot of people fucking love Coming to America. I'm seeing quotes right now.
You ain't never met no Martin Luther King.
Yeah. Dr. King sat in this chair.
He punched me in the chest.
Yeah. Oh, God, I love Rocky Marciano. I'm not going to start quoting that fucking movie. I'll be here all night.
I'll be here all night. Yeah.
God damn, Eddie Murphy's that Beverly Hills Cop 4 has to be great.
I hope so. Fingers crossed. Please, Eddie. Please. Please.
By the way, folks, I did see that we had 1,000 thumbs up. So Saturday morning, my time, I will get up and give you guys a Good Morning Pop Culture, and I'll make sure it doesn't interfere with the EFAP show. And I'm going to reach out to Mahler. I'll see if he can be on the High Council and April, and see if he's free on a Tuesday night, because everybody loves when he's on. So, you know, if you guys have any more recommendations, look, everyone said we want Clownfish TV. You guys got Clownfish TV. The High Council could make it happen. So if you have other requests from other YouTubers that you'd like to have them on the show, you know, shoot us a message. Say, hey, Jeff, check out this person. I think they'd be a great fit for the High Council, and we will we'll make it happen.
Cecil.
We're waiting to hear back from Yellow Flash and Cecil.
I know. Hopefully he'll be back soon. Yeah. I knew it was going to probably be a little longer than we expected, though. So.
Yeah, we put out the word, and we're waiting. Let's see. Matt G sent in $1. Matt G, thank you very much. Mark Schaefer said first, excuse me, I can't talk. Clownfish in the house, council complete. And like I told them, they have a standing.
Actually, I think I might have somebody if he's still on here.
Okay. So nobody also says, can I send you my comic crowdsourcing site idea? So nobody, if you want to email us, worldclassbs@mail.com. Sure. shoot me an email over there. Kendo reads the emails. Just say Jeff sent me from the High Council, and Kendo will send me a screenshot. Dr. Coffin Nails, I'm going to see you in a couple days at Horror Hound. Don't tell me that you like 48 Hours the best. Just no. Let's see. Thank you, Matt G. Thunder Robot says Star Trek Future had a utopian equality future, so they destroyed it so they can make utopian equality future. Intelligence wanted to apply within. Intelligence wanted apply within. How do you feel about that, Mecha? They had this utopian thing and they got rid of it.
Oh, that's part of why Star Trek sucks now. They just broke the entire show. I wanted to escape to a Star Trek universe where there's nothing stupid and bullshit like we have now. You know, none of the racism, sexism, inequality, money, bullshit. And now they basically just brought it all back because they're assholes and they hate me. So, yeah, that's my whole channel. That's the last 2 years of my channel is like Star Trek videos, 500 Star Trek videos, about 30 Brie Larson videos. And yeah.
Brie Larson's the gift that keeps on giving.
Oh, I know.
Great Jedi, thank you very much for generous super chat. The problem with a lot of modern anime is that it feels too samey. Too many isekai and romance anime. I'll stick with the old school stuff from the 80s to the 2000s. My Hero Academia is great, though. Great Jedi, I like Fist of the North Star, and they had a figure of the main guy at Toy Fair, and I'm considering grabbing it because while I haven't seen every episode of Fist of the North Star, I do like to watch the death scene compilations where he says that phrase like something, your time has ended or something. He has a phrase, and like then they explode into a million pieces. That's fun to me. I don't really like gory movies, and I'm not into violence in real life, but I do enjoy your everyday gory anime. So some of my favorite parts of Akira are the violent parts where the laser beam comes down and blows his arm off, and then it grows back with all the tentacles and shit. So yeah, 80s and stuff like that is great for me. Like I said, the 80s is the greatest decade for all of pop culture and entertainment. Movies, music, not music. Sorry, I don't know about books from the 80s because I don't ever read. But it's just across the board. We had the most creative endeavors going on at once that were all good. Well, majority.
It was all the cocaine. It had to have been all the cocaine.
So now with the acceptance of drug culture, do you think people are going to do coke and make good entertainment, or are they going to do coke and get woke?
I don't know. I don't know. It seems like all the cokeheads are woke idiots running around Hollywood.
Well, is coke coming back into style again?
Allegedly, I don't know.
Well, it's going to be called New Coke, Tom.
Oh God, that's all we need. Is the coke going to make you go gay? Turning everybody gay.
Well, he was trending today. So, okay. He was trending. Miracle Whip and the Sears Tower were trending all at the same time. So my first thought is, did they throw Alex Jones naked, covered in Miracle Whip from the Sears Tower or something? It's like, why are they all trending at the same time? Answer, yes, they did.
No, he got busted
in my imagination.
In the DWI, that's about all.
In my imagination.
Grey Jedi also said, Clownfish TV for the win. Great content as usual, folks. Well, Grey Jedi, thank you very much. And I'd like to thank everyone that has joined us, that is still with us, that has been here from the beginning or left later on and is going to come back and catch us on the replay. Thanks, guys, for joining us here on the High Council. We're all keeping the fandom menace strong. Modalicious, great super chat. I want to see Rogue drain Captain Carol till she dies. Yeah, I that's dark, but I'd watch it too. What do you guys think?
I don't know. Which one?
Carol?
Rogue drains Captain Marvel's powers till she dies.
Oh. Okay. Yes, yeah. That would be fun.
Yeah, sign me up. Christopher Richshot, thank you very much. It would be fine if they started introducing some of the X-Men in separate films like Rogue and Captain Marvel 2 and Storm and Black Panther 2. I would like it too, Christopher. I don't want to wait 6 years for the X-Men. The mutants are out there. Maybe they're going to have to do some sort of like interdimensional time rift or something like that, because it was the age of Marvels is what they were calling them, I believe, earlier with not Black Widow, Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. They were Marvels. They weren't mutants type of thing. And I think legally they got away with it from the whole, they're Avengers characters. They're also X-Men characters type of thing. I think they first appeared in X-Men 2, but they're also big in not X-Men 2, whenever the first Brotherhood of Evil Mutants was. But they're also Avengers. So maybe that was the legal definition that they got around it. I will say this, though. Talk about times where I had to eat crow. I was convinced that Quicksilver from Age of Ultron was going to be head and shoulders better than Quicksilver from X-Men Days of Future Past, strictly because of the costume. And boy, was I wrong.
Yeah, I felt the same way. And then I agree it was the other way around.
Yeah, it wasn't even a fair comparison. That Led Zeppelin scene was amazing.
Which one?
Oh, in X-Men, the Quicksilver, they did a scene kind of like Sonic where it's in slow motion.
Oh, okay. I don't remember.
But he's faster than everybody else. Yeah.
I haven't even seen that movie, to be honest.
Probably not.
I think with X-Men, I dipped after like the third one. I'm like, okay, these are not getting better.
But yeah, there's scenes in those kind of like how Sonic, when he's spinning around the bar room doing shit like that. Yeah, there's similar things that Quicksilver does in the X-Men movies. That was all.
Yeah, the Sweet Dreams, though, that was a cool one, too. Where he runs up the stairs.
Yeah.
Let's see. Over the Hedge did first.
Did they? It's been a while since I've seen that. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't really feel the urge to watch the X-Men movies too much outside of X2, X-Men United.
I did like Days of Future Past, even though it's way different than the comic, but
I love that movie. I don't really feel the urge to like put it on regularly.
Not really. Logan I'll watch though just about any time. I've watched Logan like 3 or 4 times now, so
I saw the opening night and that was the last time I ever watched it.
Oh. I felt it had pretty good rewatchability, but I could see where it wouldn't be everybody's cup of tea either.
Well, dude, I bought the Blu-ray. I really like it. I just
haven't had the time. I have that problem too.
Let's see. Westgard Toryabyong says, CFTV, welcome to the High Council, sub to Geeky. Yes, sub to everyone that appeared on the High Council tonight, folks. And make sure you guys are subscribed over on Mindless Entertainment because tonight Jesse is tweeting out the link and you can be on the stream with us. We're going to interrogate you. And if you can handle the heat, well, then you can ask us questions yourself. So the only way to do that is to follow the link in the chat right now. There it is. Make sure that you guys are going to be following that. That'll be going live right after the High Council every Tuesday night. So, so nobody else says, I'd buy a car to drive that fuck away from her. I'd buy that car to drive the fuck away from her.
I'd buy that for $1.
A lot of people are saying Logan is depressing. Sometimes a good depressing movie.
I understand, yeah. That's what I'm saying. I can understand why some people wouldn't want to watch it many times.
I don't know if, well, Tom, are you a comic guy or not really?
I used to be. I mean, now my comics consist of a lot of, I lost all my old comics from when I was a kid in a house fire. So, like, it took me time to rebuild some of my stuff, but then I lost a lot of it. But I've got, like, a lot of old Ninja Turtle comics and some, like, graphic novels and stuff. But that's primarily what I do anymore is buy graphic novels. So
I was going back and I'm reading old Chris Claremont, John Byrne X-Men, and it was a great two-parter. I don't know if I mentioned this on air before. The X-Men got kidnapped by Arcade, and it was them in this fun house, and they got put in these giant pinball machines, and they're fighting killer robots of each other, and he brainwashes Colossus. Like, this is a 2-issue story arc, and it's better than the biggest graphic novel from X-Men today. I'm like, every page is fun. Chris Claremont knew when to stop the story, when to pick it back up. They even had Spider-Man in the fucking mix. This story was so great that, like, not quite 20 years later, like 15 years later, they made a video game about it called Spider-Man and X-Men and Arcade's Revenge. And I just liked being able to go back and read a comic and have fun and know why the medium was so great at one point in time.
Yeah, I don't have any X books. The closest I got is Civil War, the graphic novel. My former roommate, if you could call him that, because he never paid rent, but he used to have X-Men #1.
Ooh. You should have been like, why don't you sell that book and buy a house? Depending on the quality. Let's see. Mark C.
Don't even get me started on him.
Dude, if somebody were to gift me a mint condition copy of Action Comics #1, it's #1 that Superman appears in, right? No. Yeah. Action Comics #1, Superman. Detective Comics 27 is Batman. Anyway, if somebody gifted me Action Comics, that thing would get sold, and I would, give me a copy of Spider-Man instead. Mark C. Thank you. He says, not buying Disney Plus until they have all of the Guy Williams Zorro TV show and Dr. Sun, aka the Scarecrow, with Patrick McGoohan. I don't even know what Dr. Sun is. Do you?
I believe they have those. Didn't they have those through the DVD club, Tom? Probably.
I think so.
I remember hearing.
All right, it depends on who owns it. To be honest with you, I can't remember now.
Yeah, it's over here. Walt Disney, Dr. Sin, alias the Scarecrow. Huh. Never heard of this stuff. Looks kind of cool though.
I think they have it up. I don't know if they've ever released it or not, to be honest with you.
It has to have been remastered, though, or at least because I'm looking at a picture of it right now.
Oh, then that's probable.
And it looks pretty good for being from 1963. So,
the other thing with Disney is depending on what era it is, they did a lot of co-productions with shit too. So it's you never know. It depending on where you live in like certain parts of the world. It may have been something that was released by Disney in the U.S., but not in other parts of the world, or vice versa.
Okay. So it looks like we have a surprise entrant.
Yes, we do. Well, perfect examples are like Popeye was co-produced by Disney and Paramount, for instance, the 81 movie.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Hello, everybody.
What up, Drunk 3PO? How you doing, man?
Man,
Hey.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm a little late to the party. But I was in my own party for a little bit.
Finally on the High Council.
Oh man, yeah. Even if it's for 5 minutes, it's a high honor.
Well,
Jeff.
don't worry, we're gonna have you back on for a full episode. When I get back from my convention travels, we'll have you on from the beginning of the show if you'd like.
Oh no, that'd be awesome, man. That would be absolutely awesome. But I can hang out till y'all kick me out. It's all good.
Are you kidding? We need somebody to clean up after we leave.
No, I don't mind. I've had a lot of bourbon and I'm feeling good. So,
I might join you on when I'm on Jesse's stream. I might have a couple of drinks to take the edge off because we're gonna eat bacon. So bacon and bourbon go together well.
See, I can't get away from bacon.
Is bacon haunting your dreams?
It is. Bacon
Yeah,
and
good for ya.
pepperoni pizza rolls, for Pete's sake, man.
It's good for you.
I love bacon so much. Jesse, you love bacon, right?
So why do you think I'm making an entire pack of it?
Even
good.
vegetarians secretly love bacon.
I'm ready to die for that bacon. So, Drunk, what is up, man? Are you up to date on some of the topics for this week, like Doctor Who and the Brie Larson Nissan commercial and stuff?
oh, wasn't that a fabulous commercial? I went down to my local dealership to tell them I'm not buying a car.
Right.
Yeah. I'm up to date on all this craziness. That's for sure. Did she get like 10,000 thumbs down on that? And then I think they cut the comments off that YouTube.
Oh, they did. I can't even look at it anymore. I mean, I can look at it, obviously, but it just says comments have been disabled for this video. So if anyone has a screenshot of the thumbs down ratio and they want to tag us on Twitter, I will use that in our video that comes out later this week. So I'd really appreciate it.
Oops. I think I have a screenshot and it's at 10,000 thumbs down. So I don't mind sending that to you if you don't have anything.
Yeah, I'd appreciate that, man, because it'll just be something to add to the video because it's like, hey, it got comments disabled. I wonder why. Well, here's why type of thing.
It's pretty crazy. Like, I mean, I know you guys talked about it, so I don't want to like jump in, but it's just, I just don't understand why they keep going back to these terrible wells that are, I just don't understand why they do this. And then when they see that everybody hates it, they just decide, well, if we just mute ourselves, it'll be okay. Everything will be okay if we just mute it and we don't have to see these terrible white people, commenting and all that stuff.
They're the worst, aren't they, man?
Yeah, I know. I can't stand them. I can't stand them.
So, the thing is, I look at her and I look at all this stuff, and it's another failed social marketing attempt that is very like I can understand if it always made money, but if you want to burn $8 billion, Gillette, do what they did, or like Gillette, do what they did. I'm not saying this is going to hurt Nissan at all. It's just I don't know. It's just
sure as hell ain't going to help them.
No, not at all. So we're so drunk. We were reading some of the super chats. Feel free to jump in on any of the topics and say whatever you want, man. So
no problem.
The show as we are. So
I'm gonna DM you that photo right now, so you have it in your DMs on Twitter.
Thank you very much.
So while you're reading super chats, that way, if I don't do it now, I'll forget. I think I've had too much bourbon to remember to do it tomorrow.
No, there's such thing as there is such a thing. You're not there yet. You're very coherent. Jesse always talks about the time I got too drunk on my Spider-Man stream, and she's like, "You were so cute. You were so drunk." I'm like, "Yep, I don't remember that."
Yeah, I'm not there yet.
Jorge Pulido says, "Who's the worst, Carlos Maza or Brie Larson?"
Oh,
I don't know who Carlos Maza is. Do you guys?
You don't know who Carlos is?
I don't. I'm sorry.
He's the guy that tried to kill YouTube. And then what does he do? He gets fired from, I think he was on Vox. He was a Vox. And he got fired from Vox. And then he decided, because he got fired from Vox, he decided he's going to make a YouTube channel to make money, even though he hates YouTube. And actually, he was just exposed last week of being a son of like a multimillionaire. He's got like a big house, and even though he's he's campaigning for socialism in America. So
I'm gonna go with him because Brie Larson is just a good laughing stock, but she's not.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Well, Brie Larson's not far off. I mean, like if you see that behind the scenes thing and you listen to some of the shit she says, you're like, woman, you have never worked a day in your life. You lived with a silver spoon in your mouth your whole life. You have no idea. Yeah, you have no idea what it's like to struggle. And then I'm just sitting here thinking she's talking about all this woman power, and she's griping about she thought she should have got a job one time and she had the credentials or whatever, but she didn't get it. So in other words, like I said, it's not like she's ever applied at Walmart. I guarantee you. She's talking about an acting gig, which means she's griping about a job that another woman got. I mean, come on. She has never had to sacrifice anything in her life, guaranteed.
Yep.
Let's see. Mark C says, curious about the Brisson commercial. Did she tell a Latina woman to drop the I'm Polish. You want to tell me to drop the pierogies? Hey, Mark, we're actually going to eat pierogies later on. We have a bunch
I like
of
pierogies.
Pierogies are delicious, dude. When I was in Columbus with Jesse, we went to a Polish market and had lunch. It was delicious.
They're like ravioli's cousin.
Oh, yes, but I guess with more carbs because it's noodles wrapped
and bacon.
Butter. Oh.
Wow.
When I lived in Michigan, I used to eat pierogies all the time at the cafeteria.
My thing is like growing up living in Miami, like we just had mom and pop shops everywhere. You can go down to Little Havana and get Cuban food. A couple more miles down the road to get Haitian food. All those things. I mean, they sold tacos and Cuban food at dealerships and everything like that. So
I got to say this real quick, people in the chat. Try not to respond to the sex bots. Then, because if you do, then there's a chance you might get blocked with one of us thinking you are a sex bot. Because I almost accidentally blocked somebody thinking they were, but they responded to them. So try to be careful to not do that.
Yeah, like I said, you can have dissenting opinions. You don't have to agree with what we say. All that stuff, that doesn't matter. But the bots are the things we block. So
yeah, and I don't want to accidentally block somebody. That would really suck.
Yeah.
And if you're curious as to what I mean, for those who obviously don't know, they're ones that have like the live chat crap in them or love sex, this or whatever in their names 9 times out of 10.
Yeah. Thanks, Mecca and Tom. I've been seeing that every time I see one, I go to the other window to do it, and it says that you guys have already done it. So thank you.
try and get them. Like I was responding to them one day on my channel. I'm like, oh shit. 'Cause
Well,
they
at first you
at
have no idea. Yeah.
Yeah, they at you, and I'm like, I'm just thinking of somebody adding me a question or something.
Well, what it is yeah, here's one right here. Laura, I love sex. Da, 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 da. What they do is they copy other people's messages, is what it is. So
I've never had the privilege of having one of those on my streams. Was that me whistling?
Jesse's burning the house down.
Oh, I was like, is my mic feeding back? What's going on?
And now we're distracted reading the chat. So
No, I think Jeff's dealing with that.
yeah, I know.
Okay, yeah, I think that's what's going on there. So yeah, anyway, so Jay, welcome to the High Council.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you for having me, Queen Mecca. Always a pleasure.
Well, thank
Always a
you. Thank you
pleasure.
for hanging out here.
Well, I finished my stream and I was like, I wonder if you guys are still going on. So that's why I sent you a text, Tom, and it's good to be here. I know you guys were winding down, but I was like, I didn't mind hanging out while they're reading super chats. It's not an issue. So,
Art Vandley says you're a sex bot, but yes, Drunk 3PO is a different kind of sex bot.
I don't have the chat open because I know I'm the new guy, and then I know how the new guys get initiated, and so I don't even want to see. I don't even want to see what possibly people could be saying. So if you don't know me, my name is Drunk 3PO. My channel's the same, and I'm kind of the new kid around here. So sort of, right?
I don't know. You've been around for a while, but it's your first time on here.
Yeah,
but,
exactly. I've always been a person in this chat. So
oh yeah, I'm willing to bet a large portion of the audience know who you are. So Jay Drunk 3PO. So
there you go.
But hey,
yeah, Jay's better. So
Cecil is too drunk for the High Council. I have no idea if he's too drunk or not. I wish he'd get it in here. I don't get to talk to him enough.
Yeah, I feel like even with my name, Drunk 3PO, I don't know if I could hang with Jeff and Cecil drinking. Honestly, they really can do some. They really can put some stuff back. So, but you got to try. Here's to trying.
I'm such a lightweight anymore, but I get so sick anymore. I just can't drink.
I've never been a big drinker. I don't like discourage others from drinking around me or anything like that. I'm not like the dick like that who's like, you're drinking too much. I shouldn't drink. I don't have to drink to have a good time. No, I'm the guy over there sitting there with a blunt going, hell, you got to do what you got to do, Just kidding. I don't smoke blunts.
So did you guys you already went through the whole Brie Larson?
We've been hitting on it.
We didn't really watch it, but yeah, it's like we were complaining about it. We didn't like the real treasure is the after like the explanation thing.
Okay, I'm still alive.
Oh, you were wondering what was going on there. You're like,
It's exactly what you thought it was, Tom.
He's trying to burn the house down. I was kidding.
Yeah,
Damn it.
That's exactly what went off. That's why it's like, and I don't know exactly.
I thought it was just an accident because somebody was cooking or something, and it just,
Yeah, that's what happened. Sorry, folks. You are, you're experiencing all the stuff firsthand. That's the beauty of live internet radio / streaming / whatever. But we got Drunk 3PO helping us out here tonight.
As long as
I thought my
everybody's
mic
okay.
I thought my mic was feeding back, and I was
gonna
like,
suck
wow,
that and go out the window.
Terrible. So
As long as everybody's all right and can breathe and the animals are okay and the house is still standing.
The thing is, we're just making bacon. The apartment, the fire alarm's retarded. That's all it is. So I got the window open, folks. So you're going to hear the street racing that goes on in the neighborhood we live in. Sorry.
Just getting hyped for Fast and Furious 9. That's all.
Yeah. Hey, they're not pushing the release date.
Oh, we lost him. Oh shit. He's back. Okay.
Okay. Matt G, we read his. Culture Casino says this is her second commercial. She did an Audi one.
Yeah, I did a reaction to that one a while back too. Yeah. Oh, that was a fun one. I can't remember. Oh, that had Goose the Cat in it. That's why.
You know what? I know this sounds really shitty to say, but at least an Audi is like a higher end car. So at least somebody smug and douchey like Brie Larson selling that kind of car makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think a lot of people, like, their first car, like, mom and dad bought you a Nissan or something. It's like, okay, cool. Go out into the world and do something. Maybe be excellent to each other, but also don't get yourself killed right away. But yeah, I don't feel like she's on brand with that. Like Matthew McConaughey in the Lincoln, I buy that, but not Brie Larson in a Nissan. She just she wouldn't step foot in that. Like if she was shit faced and taking a lift somewhere, it couldn't be a Nissan. It wouldn't be good enough for her.
That's pretty accurate.
That's the thing too, man. Like I don't have any issues with women selling cars or doing this. It's not the point, and you know it. We all here on this chat know it right now. But like the sad part is we have to reaffirm our stance all the time so people don't assume we're these terrible things. It's like you can't listen to the conversation or the dialogue. You have to jump to the conclusion. Then we have to convince you other. And it should be the other way around, that, through our actions and words.
I hate to break it to him, but I highly doubt there's any misogynistic macho men that are driving a Nissan anyway.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, when are they going to come out and say, that commercial wasn't for you, Tom? Okay? Nissans aren't for you. They're not for you.
They already aren't for me.
You know what? I might be buying a car sometime in the next few months. I won't buy a Nissan.
Right?
You just lost a sale.
I was thinking of that earlier. I'm like, do I want a Nissan? Nah. I drive a Jeep. I'm proud of that. So let's see. Where are we at? Nobody says this is all based on marketing data that came out before the Kaepernick thing and said minorities are the most active on social media and luxury spending.
Oh, these little fuckers are evolving.
What are you saying?
They're evolving. They're dropping the other crap from their names.
So Elizabeth is a bot?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Because I've been checking to make sure that it's copied stuff. Yeah.
Well, I trust your judgment. Just make sure that people like Dr. Coffin-Nails and Batman Well are safe.
If I accidentally block somebody, you got the thing up on the thing so you can't see it right now, but my Twitter
sex videos, yeah, that one, yeah, Elizabeth's not real.
My Twitter is on my thing when Jeff takes down the
watch my hot video sex
If I
video.
accidentally do, just DM me and I'll let Jeff know.
Yeah, we'll take care of you guys, don't worry.
But so
Jeff,
far, I think we're good. Sorry,
I'm
Jay.
sorry, that last super chat, what was that? That minorities only use social... What was that? Can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
Oh, of course. This is in regards to the Brie Larson movement. It says, this is all based on marketing data that came out before the Kaepernick thing that said minorities are the most active on social media and luxury spending.
So that's why they made that commercial, just to appeal to minorities?
That's what some nobody is talking about. Because when I did research about the Brie Larson stuff and the Kaepernick thing came up and all this, activism marketing, I don't know how far it goes back with the minority stuff, but I don't know if that's accurate based on what I've seen. But nobody could have data that I haven't seen yet.
I can tell you, I mean, as a school teacher, I can tell you that I think it's the younger generation definitely spends a lot more time on social media. I don't know if it's just designated to a section of minorities. Anyone with a cell phone probably spends too much time on social media. And then that's a weird data. Yeah, that's weird data.
Well, I think it's a lot of data will always. I'm not saying data will be skewed, but a lot of it will be presented or partially presented to represent what they're trying to push. So.
Yeah, absolutely. When they do any type of polling or anything for whatever, if you read the fine print, it's like they only asked 50 people. So if you go find 100 people in a certain area, I'm sure you could get whatever. Yeah, like you said, I'm sure you can get any kind of figure that you want to fit your narrative. So that's crazy.
It is crazy, man. All this stuff, this culture war that we're going on, I thought this shit would have ended a couple of years ago, but it just keeps getting worse and worse because they're going to double down till they burn out. So we'll just be here making fun of it.
This is getting to be like a video game.
Yeah, Respawn level 12 is the same as level 1. It's like Pac-Man. There's only so many maps.
I think we got them for now.
Let's see.
Oh, then I spoke too soon.
Let's see. Benito Martinez says, I would break it smashing the like if I could. LOL. Well, Benito, thank you very much. I see you here all the time, so I know you love what we do. And I appreciate everyone that loves what we do. But Benito, you right now for wanting to smash the like button if you could. Let's see. Darth Fatass, one of my favorites, Barry the was it Barry the Fat Jedi? Anyway, just maybe my boys can protect the book. Yeah, and maybe I'm Chinese jet pilot. POS. You piece of shit. What movie is that from? Just maybe my boys can protect the book, and maybe I'm a Chinese jet pilot. Do you guys know? I'm lost.
No,
Not offhand.
Let's see if I can spell.
I didn't remember any quotes though.
I'm usually pretty good at movie quotes. It's just sometimes I'm on here and they throw me off. Oh shit, I'm dumb. It's from our Evil Dead, Army of Darkness, man. How did I fuck
is
that
it?
up?
Oh,
Yeah.
shit, I watched that like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, how did I fuck that up?
I was kind of distracted, but yeah, it's been a while since I watched it too. But I've seen it.
I blame alcohol.
That I haven't had enough, you mean?
Yeah. Hey, I've heard stories, man. I've heard stories from Jesse.
Good, bad. I'm the
Dude,
bad.
I hope to let you see some of those events unfold in person. You got to come to the Fandom meetups and stuff.
I plan on it. I plan on being in Cali. But are you going to WrestleMania?
I am going to WrestleMania.
So I'm 40 minutes away from the.
Well, we're on Twitter as friends. If you want to shoot me a DM, I'll tell you where we're going to be. If you want to come meet up and hang out for lunch.
Yeah,
or something
absolutely. Absolutely, brother. You got
It'll
that.
be Dion from the show will be there, and then two of my other friends, Dan and Joel. We'd love to have you, man. We'll just I rented an Airbnb, so.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, I'm not far. It just was weird. Like there was a big, because being here in Florida, there was a big thing about closing Disney from the Miller Lite virus and all that stuff that's going on, and then WWE came out and said we're not canceling, so deal with it. Which they're also predicting there could be a lot more open seats, so they might have tickets available. At least
they never sell out anyway.
Yeah, I mean
they tell you they do.
So we'll see how that looks. I mean, I've always wanted to go. Went to the one in Orlando. You know,
I was there
right down the street. That was awesome. So
I have been to the last 14 in a row. So this is my 15th year in a row going.
You did go to the Orlando one, so we were there together in spirit.
Yeah, man. You're talking about the one from 2017, correct?
Yeah.
Because I also went to the one in Orlando in 2008. That was,
and then I was at the Royal Rumble. That was in Orlando too. 3 years ago, 4 years ago. So
I love the Royal Rumble.
Those two are my favorite, Rumble and WrestleMania. After that, it's just because I mean they, depends on what they throw together. This pay-per-view that was on Sunday, that was kind of weak, but
I agree. Jesse and I watched it. It was not great.
Fucking wrestling, my bad, bro. Come on, talk wrestling.
You want to come on one of our Patreon wrestling podcasts?
I could, yeah. You talk WWE and the whole.
Oh yeah, all of it.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
Yeah, I'll shoot you a message and stuff. We'll talk. I've seen you actually pop up on my Facebook feed as a recommended friend, so I'll just shoot you a request and we can talk that way.
Sounds good.
All right, so let's see what is next. Our friend, this is says everybody is mad that Doctor Who on a Thomas Edison episode, when in fact was right about Thomas Edison being the jerk he was. Easy fix on Doctor Who being the miracle baby nonsense is to have it shown that someone else is the miracle baby. There, fixed it. Now those both come from this is. I don't know the Thomas Edison episode, but I definitely know the Vincent van Gogh episode, and that's incredible.
Oh, I wasn't mad that they portrayed Thomas Edison as a dick. I was mad that the episode was just boring and stupid. But,
Yeah. We have up next, we have our friend Will Gentry. Will Gentry says they killed Doctor Who in a way that eclipses anything Star Wars or Star Trek they've done. Not only is it dead, it's chopped into pieces, put onto kebabs. That's kind of sad, but it also makes me kind of hungry.
Yeah.
This is says DC Comics started to fix most of that by finally firing Dan Didio. Hopefully they can fix Batman. After he got left at the altar and the most un-Batman-like thing ever, I was turned off to reading Tom King's Batman, and I just wanted to get heavily into comics again. But every time they do something like that, they pull me right back out. Let's see. Silver Phantom X says, Tatake Irunda! hope I got that right. Some nobody, thank you very much, says millennial/Gen Z is that way in real life. All political ID. Well, some nobody, they also don't have any fucking money. So as a company, I wouldn't market to them unless all I want to do is get social media cred. But that's just me. Joe Bryant says, they took my love, they took my land, took me to I cannot stand, but they can't take away the sky from me. Firefly intro speaks to true fandoms. What do you think about that, Jesse? We have that quote on our wall. So Joey Bryant, you know what's up. We're a fandom or a Firefly household. King Arcturus says, anyone remember the show Viper? It popped into my brain when I heard Knight Rider. Does anyone remember Viper?
Vaguely, yeah. A little bit.
I do not.
Was that on? I'm trying to remember what that was on. What it was, but vaguely, yeah.
Ed Begley Jr. I remember VIP with Pamela Anderson, but you know. Joseph Bienowitz has a very powerful message. The power of the fandom menace as a collective. We are Legion. Better than being farmers.
That's right. Damn right.
I'm sorry for that shitty joke, Joseph. Please come back. King Arcturus says, Jack in the Box number 29 grilled sourdough Swiss sandwich. That sounds pretty tasty right now. I've
never had Jack in the Box.
We got one in Ohio, and I never had it. So.
I've never had
Jack
it.
in the Box is so good. I took you guys there too during the meetup.
Oh, did we?
The meetup, yeah.
Was it? We made it.
Yeah,
Did
we
we
drove
make it
off
to one?
strip, and I was already so fucked up by then because like that was before we went to the bar.
I remember going to Taco Bell.
Okay, yeah, we went to Taco Bell. This is like the night before the Millennium Fandom meetup.
Because the night when I went to Hell's Kitchen, you guys went to the grill.
We went to the other Gordon Ramsay place.
I don't remember it for some reason.
No, it was you, me, Jesse. We all drove out there. I think Rob drove. We went off strip because I remember we went to like one in my old neighborhood.
I guess it must not have been that good that I don't remember. I remember Smash Burger.
Oh yeah, well, Smash Burger we were eating like pretty much every day.
Yeah, we don't have one in Florida, so.
Well, you guys have what's that? Shake Shack down there, so.
Steak and Shake.
Oh, those are good too.
Steak and Shake's fun when you're drunk at 3 a.m.
Yep.
Let's see. Our friend Wander says, summary of Doolittle 2020. Hey, kids, want to watch Iron Man Fist of Dragon? By the way, Midnight Ted really enjoyed the interview you did with Ken Penders.
Oh, thank you. We got we got tons of interviews coming up if I can ever get them edited.
Kevin Vu says, how about Englantine from I Love Comics? Kevin, when you sent this, I actually went over and subscribed to that channel. I'm going to check them out and see what's up. I'm always down for a good comic book discussion. I love nerding out, geeking out. Especially with someone who can tell me who Jack Kirby is. Bombshoes says, let's get John Boyega on the High Council. Well, Bombshoes, since you're here all the time, I'm going to put it to you personally to get John Boyega on the High Council. We'll have him on if you can get him to respond on Twitter.
Shit, yeah.
Absolutely.
Raging Rhino, thank you very much for your $1. No message, though, but you're greatly appreciated. Andrew Clark says, Batwoman Season 13. I'm not Batman, but maybe I'm better? Well... Folks, if you want good Batwoman stuff, you need to check out the Place to Be Reviews. Etepakoyan covers every episode of Batwoman. I don't watch the show.
Yeah, I stopped. I dipped. Like I got most of them. I think I'm missing like 2 episodes for Batwoman. It just got so weird. It just got boring after a while.
Dr. Coffin Nails, thank you very much. Can Tom please do his Harrison Ford voice before you go?
What do you want me to say? Where's my pot? Someone stole my pot.
Tyler Preston, what Marvel character do you wish to be killed off?
It was
I'm going to go Squirrel Girl or Kamala Khan.
Squirrel Girl or who? Squirrel Girl or who?
All down. Kill them all.
Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan.
Probably Miss Marvel.
Yeah, I'll go with Miss Marvel.
The chick with the big fist.
Oh, yeah.
She's got a great career in the porn industry if she just fails at being a superhero.
Not really. I think that'd be counterproductive.
Hey, the bigger the gape for some people, I don't know.
Alexander Ward says, what do you guys think of Blade Devil? I don't know what Blade Devil is.
I don't know.
Well, isn't that Raging Golden Eagles comic?
It might be.
I believe it is.
Our friend Dustin Rogers says, burning down the home, bad apartment, biatch. I hate to have to censor myself. Rosetta Allen, thank you very much. She says, if minorities are the most active in spending on the internet, then where is their argument of white privilege? I have no clue, Rosetta.
That's the thing. Most women who are complaining about this are white women who have the most privilege in the freaking world.
Here you go.
Ask Mecca. She's so privileged.
I know, right? First world problems.
I wish if I were actually privileged. I would...
No, but you know darn well if you wanted to swing them privileges around, you could.
Zenfit VOD says, hey, Queen, MCU movies, who are your top 5 villains?
In the movies?
I guess. I'll just give you my favorite, Thanos.
Yeah, Thanos, and I like the Red Skull. He was good. What was his
Captain
name?
Marvel was a good villain, right? She was super unlikable.
Warmonger, is that what his name was?
Killmonger.
Or Killmonger, I mean. Yeah, I liked him. And I liked what's his face, who was also in that. I don't know why I'm blanking on names right now so badly. He plays Gollum, for fuck's sake.
Oh, Andy Serkis.
Andy Serkis, yeah.
Claw.
Claw, yeah, he was good too.
There's a lot of good ones, but let's see. Darth Fatass says Army of Darkness is the movie. Thank you very much. I'll be honest, I don't even have 5 favorite MCU
Loki
villains.
was really good too, but he's kind of an anti-villain.
Yeah, anti-hero, anti-villain. He fits a lot of different categories. Dixon Sider says Nissan chose Brie because she's just as bland as their cars.
Well said.
I just want to be a person. I want to
Wow, they depreciate in value like crazy. Just like a few years old, and they're like, "Oh wow."
Well, if we put some glitter on it and call it a brace on.
This is. I hate Universal Studios for canceling ahead of its time Exo Squad. I don't even know what Exo Squad
Not sure
is.
I know that one, yeah.
And Mark C finally says, you make me sad. AEW all the way. Well, Mark C, I'm an AEW guy. You got to listen to our Patreon podcast. We talked about how great Chris Jericho is and how awesome it is that he's really making AEW a lot bigger. So, folks, the party is not over. Follow the link in the chat. Jesse and I are going to be having a stream right now where she's going to send out the link. You guys can get in. We'll interrogate you. We'll have fun. We have some COVID beers that we're going to be drinking, and the link is in the chat. So, Mecca, anything you want to say before we go?
Go watch my Brie Larson videos. They're kind of hilarious.
Tom, Midnight's Edge, anything you want to say?
Just check us out on Midnight's Edge After Dark. As I said, we got a bunch of interviews coming up, but I'm sure we got a lot more coverage on other things, including that recent news about 007. I don't know if you did a video about that yet, Jeff.
I did, and it got swatted down, so we'll talk about that off there.
Probably about, I know what for, the Kung Flu.
Yep.
Whoa.
Drunk 3PO, man, it was an honor to have you for such a short period of time, but we'll get together at WrestleMania. We'll have you on the High Council when I get back. How's that sound?
No, it sounds great, brother. No, thank you for letting me just come in and hang out. I really appreciate it. I was hanging with my crew. That's the crew that you guys inspired, the Dark Council. Have all the black guys from the Fandom Menace talking, just shattering the narrative, of what the SJWs are saying.
I think we were talking we may have to have a Dark Council, High Council crossover kind of thing.
That'd be kind of cool.
So make that happen.
That's kind of cool. So thank you so much. It's an honor. It's an honor to hang out with these amazing people and YouTubers and everything. So thank you.
But yeah, I had a great time, folks. I'd like to thank ClownFish TV once again, and I'd like to thank each and every one of you who joined us tonight for the High Council. Next week we'll be on Mecha Random 42's channel. I'll be out of town going to Horror Hound and stuff. But make sure you guys are subscribed to her channel, Midnight's Edge After Dark, Drunk 3PO, and right now I'm going over to Mindless Entertainment. So the link is in the chat one last time. Join us for fun. Join us for being on camera. And thank you for watching. I'll have some videos out this week. So if YouTube notifications aren't popping up, we haven't gone anywhere. We're in here for the long haul. So everyone, thank you for watching. And as always, be excellent to each other.